And away we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the big show's on your radio. This is the Rob Brown Show, and this is ESPN Upstate. Hello to you, and how do you do, Upstate South Carolina, and of course, the rest of the world as we broadcast live on the Odyssey app to anywhere with a data internet connection and a speaker. I am Rob Brown. The pleasure exclusively mine. Thank you so much for hanging out, being a part of the show today. So glad to have you along for the ride today. Sitting across from me, the man on the ones and twos, going to be joining. He's going to be hosting a segment later on today as we talk World Series baseball. Legend Diddy is in the house. What's up, fella?
What's going on, Hat Twin?
Yes, both rocking the baby blue toss back ATL Braves hats today.
I mean, a few months ago, we were blue bird shirt bros.
Yep.
Now we're Hat Twins. What's going on around here?
Just great minds thinking alike, that's all. Just another day of greatness here in the ESPN Upstate studios, that's all. NBD, as the kids say, no big deal. It's just what we do. It's just what we do. I am Rob Brown. That voice you hear, the smooth, seductive tones of Diddy sitting in for the great one as Lonzo is out today. He will rejoin us on Monday. We got, I believe, Tim, DJ Tim, going to be sitting with us tomorrow through Friday. And, man, is it a good time to be a sports fan, y'all? Oh, yeah. Good time to be a sports fan. I don't mean to alarm anybody, but you know what, Diddy? Let's just make it item number one. Push the button.
Let's do lunch.
This is a very nutritious lunch.
Push the
All
button,
the food
please.
groups are represented.
If you don't mind.
How dare you?
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
It is the lunch breakdown. The three things you have to know before you go start talking sports with your friends, family, coworkers, and the dog. As we talk sports, baby. Item number one on the lunch breakdown. I don't want to alarm anyone. I get in trouble for saying alarm because apparently I say it wrong. I don't want to alarm anybody, ladies and gentlemen.
Now it sounds Irish.
Oi. I don't want to alarm anyone today, but your Atlanta Braves folks are playing in a World Series game today. Game number one of the World Series, the first time the Bravos have been in a World Series since 1999. And yes, we are, Prince, going to party like it's 1999 because the Bravos are back, baby. They are underdogs in this series. Ain't no doubt about it. Not only underdogs, but underdogs on the road. If this thing goes 7, it will take place in H-Town. Game number 7 will. Diddy's going to do a full segment of World Series talk. I mean, Diddy and I'm not going anywhere.
It's baseball, but it definitely has World Series.
It better.
Oh, yeah. How can
you
you not
know this, Diddy? But item number one on the lunch breakdown.
Yeah.
The Braves are playing in a World Series game today, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely.
Can't wait. Look through, and I got to tell you, it's a good thing the Braves have kind of embraced the underdog role in these playoffs because going through, ESPN asked their top 15 sports reporters to cast their votes on this World Series. 12 of them picked the Houston Astros. 6 said Astros in 6. 5 said Astros in 7. 2 of them said Braves in 7. 1 of them said Astros in 5, and 1 of them said Braves in 6. So nobody's got to sweep either direction.
No.
2 voters. Sorry, 1 voter has said Stros in 5. 1 has said Braves in 6. 6 have said Astros in 6. 2 have said Braves in 7. 5 said Astros in 7. Look, Rob Brown, the fan, Diddy says Braves in 7.
Yeah.
All right, Rob Brown, the fan. Rob Brown, the radio dude, Rob Brown, the dude that gets paid to be impartial and give his hot takes, says Astros in 6. What you got?
Man, this is actually part of what Bases Loaded is going to give us in the 1 o'clock hour. My
Ooh,
segment.
it's a tease.
Yes, it is a little bit of a tease, but the more and more I look at this, yesterday we talked and we both kind of said Braves or Astros in 7. The experience factor is a lot of this. The way the lineup woke up late against the Red Sox in the ALCS is concerning. The more and more I look through the numbers, the recent trends, what these teams have done down the stretch, man, my mind is changing. I don't know. I will give a pick, 115 in Bases Loaded, but I am wavering now the more I look at this, especially because of the starting rotations, the pitching staffs.
Yep.
Astros do not have experience.
Nope. Braves got 3 front-end guys who have been hot in this postseason. With I think Ian Anderson in Game 5 was really the only starting performance in the postseason that you kind of chalk up as a disappointment.
Yeah, and you really only have those last 2 games against the Red Sox as great starts for the Houston Astros.
Yeah. And 2 young guys, by the way.
2 young guys.
I think both rooks, right?
I don't know if they're full on. I said rookies yesterday, but I think I was wrong. One's considered a rookie. I don't know if it was Valdez or Luis. I think Luis is a rookie technically, but he came up last year in September. I'm pretty sure it might be the second year for Valdez. But young, very experienced, have never been here to this level, not starting, being the marquee guys, because now McCullers is out.
Yep.
You have your ace on the shelf. You no longer have Garrett Cole, Charlie Morton, who's pitching for the Red Sox, Verlander, who's back home. You don't have those guys on this rotation in Houston anymore. And other than the 2 starts at the end of the Red Sox series, none of these guys went deep into a single game at all throughout the playoffs. So, I don't know, man. Starting to waver.
I'm looking through some of the ESPN picks because they asked these guys to pick who wins, how many games, MVP, breakout player who becomes a household name, and the one thing that decides the series. And Doug Glanville, who writes for ESPN, said Astros in 6, said his MVP is Carlos Correa, which is a fine pick. I got no issue with that. The breakout player who becomes a household name, Kyle Tucker. All right, cool. Fair. I got no problem with that. The one thing that will decide the series, I love this. The one thing that will decide the series, late inning heroics, clutch and timely hitting, and 2 outs performances. And then he gives the credit to the Astros.
Yeah.
Did you watch the Braves in any of these series?
That is fair. The Astros were very, very good with 2 outs and 2-out situations. They did most of their damage with 2-out situations, but being clutch, being in big moments, doing big things, the Braves did that the whole second half of the season, to be honest, and then definitely throughout the playoffs. So I feel like that's more of a toss-up situation right there.
Yeah, at best I'd go toss-up. Honestly, I slightly lean Bravos, but I would say toss-up. He writes it down like that, like it's clear cut. Like it's clear cut.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is.
I don't know.
All right,
what does Buster Olney say, by the way?
Let me find one.
That's the guy I trust. By the way, Chris Mad Dog Russo was just on Greenberg right before us, right? Just 10 minutes ago. He said Braves in 6.
Okay.
And that guy I kind of lean towards agreeing with more too.
Tim Kirchin says Astros in 7. MVP is Altuve. Austin Riley is the breakout player. Although I got to tell you, he slowed up in the NLCS a lot.
Big time.
Said the one thing that will decide the series is the experience of the Astros, which I got no issue with. I'm looking down to see if I can find old Buster. There he is. Buster only says Braves in 6. MVP is Freddie Freeman. Breakout player who becomes a household name, Adam Duvall.
Nice.
And the one thing that will decide the series, the depth of the Braves lineup, markedly better than last year. Turns out to be difference-making along with the lefty relievers that they have. I'll tell you, the relief pitching of the Atlanta Braves, as I'm going to be real with you here, lunch breakdown is just going to be baseball talk now because it's my show and I want to. I will say, if we go unit by unit, right, we'll do this later in the show. Starting pitching, I lean Atlanta.
Yeah,
I lean Atlanta. Sure. Relief pitching, I think I lean Atlanta again. And to be honest, and I say every year that you got to have hot bats to win a World Series, but pitching is where you win and lose. And right now, I would argue both the front and back end is better for Atlanta than it is for Houston.
I think so. Really, Graveman's a stud. And outside of that, I don't know if anybody's really full-on dependable for Dusty Baker. Graveman's awesome.
Sure.
And he was lights out against the Red Sox. Even in the bad games when he came in, he stopped the bleeding. But really, did anybody else do that great? And again, their rotation, Greinke's their most experienced guy, and he's been awful down the stretch.
Has.
So I don't trust their pitching.
Investment too.
I do not trust their pitching for the Houston Astros.
Let's see. Tristan Cockruff says Astros in 7. He said, I do think home field advantage will matter in this year's series. After the magical run the Braves have been on, you'd think they'd be a natural choice for a third straight upset, but I think the Astros home field advantage is a significant one and potentially the difference, and that is where I agree with somebody who picked the Astros. I circle that and go, I go back to the series against the Brewers. The Braves getting 1-2 at the house was big. I go back to the NLCS against the Dodgers. I said going into game 3, the Braves need to go 1-2 in LA. If they go 1-2 in LA, they will close out in Atlanta. They now, here's what I know. First 2 games of the series in Houston, you cannot do worse than split.
No.
If you give the first 2 away, you're in trouble, because then you have to come back. You have to win 2 in a row to make it a 3-game series with the road disadvantage. The Braves need to go what they need to do is go 1-1 on the road to start. Going 2-0 would be fabulous, but let's be real. Houston plays well at home. Go 1-1, come back and win both. Give yourself a 3-1 lead like you had against the Dodgers, knowing that the series format is 2-2-1-1-1 instead of the 2-3-2.
I think they went back. I think it's 2-3-2 again.
I thought
pretty sure.
Okay. Well, either way,
but you got to win at home.
You got to win at home.
I almost would rather it be the 2-3-2-2-1-1-1 because you get that day off between home games, that game back in Houston. But they did. I think they did that last year, and then they changed it back for this year.
They did change it back. It's 2-3-2. So Braves Astros tonight, 8:09 p.m. Game number 2 is tomorrow in H-Town. Also, every game is at 8:09 with the exception of Game 5 Sunday at 8:15. So they're all just after 8 o'clock. Game 1 today, 8:09. Game 2 tomorrow, 8:09. Game 3 will be Friday night at 8:09. Game 4 is Saturday night at 8:09. Game 5 is Sunday, Halloween night at 8:15 p.m.
The extra 10 minutes for trick-or-treating.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what it is.
Game 6 back in Houston, if necessary, will be Tuesday. Game 7, if necessary, back in Houston will be next Wednesday night. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday. There's your World Series schedule. Mark it down, boys and girls. Texter says Bravos in 7. Another texter says Braves in 6. Book it.
Says book it. Book a promise? We're putting it in the book of promise? I don't know if I can go that far.
Man, I got to tell you, 6 and 7 being in Houston scares me a little bit. It really does.
Yeah, I don't like that they're not the home advantage team, obviously. Getting 1, 2, 6, 7 is huge for whoever's in the World Series in this format. And that's why it's better that it went back to, the better record gets that and not the stupid all-star game thing. But I still don't know. I just don't know if they have the depth pitching-wise in Houston to last 7 games, even with the last 2 being at home. If they are stretched, if the Braves bullpen or lineup can do what they do and force these starters out of games, stretch that bullpen out, you're going to have a couple bullpen games in the middle of the series if you're Dusty Baker, because you just don't have enough starters to have a guy go 7 nights in a row. There's going to be a bullpen game for them. I don't know if they can survive that stretch if it goes 6 or 7 games because of their pitching. And you can score runs, but if you're not stopping it, what's it matter?
All right, talking a bunch of baseball today. We're going to jump back into it when we come back here in just a minute. We are going to go and talk unit by unit. Diddy's got coming up at 1:15 his Bases Loaded segment where we're going to really deep dive this series and maybe some other baseball stories in there too. We'll see what Diddy's got on tap for us at 1:15. But when we come back, unit by unit breakdown, we're going to look at starting pitching, back end pitching, hitting top to bottom, outfielders, infielders, coaching. We're looking at it all when we come back. I'm Rob. He's Diddy. You're listening to The Rob Brown Show. You are listening to ESPN Upstate.
I don't think I'm muted on here, so it's probably echoey. I got it.
The action courtesy of the Saints Radio Network, 13-10 the final over the Seahawks last night. Brian Johnson's 33-yard field goal to win it came with 1:32 left. Jameis Winston, 19 of 35 passing, 222 yards and 1 touchdown. That was held in by Alvin Kamara Jr. 10 catches, 128 yards overall. New Orleans improves to 4-2 with the win. The Seahawks drop to 2-5. Game 1 of the World Series gets
Valdez is the one that's 3-0.
What's that?
Valdez is 3-0, but only has 1 quality start.
Yeah.
And then Luis Garcia only has that last game against the Red Sox that was good. He gave up 5 runs in both of the other starts and was out in the second inning in one and the third inning in the other. So it's like those are your aces right now coming into this without Lance McCullers. Coffee. So Buster Olney and Mad Dog Chris Russo both say Braves in 6. That's big.
I don't like if you tell me either team in 6 or 7, I'm not going to call you crazy. You know what I mean? Like
It's going to be an awesome series, I think.
here's hoping.
And let's not forget, I love the old guy. But there's no bigger choker in the history of baseball
Then
Dusty
Dusty.
Baker. Just remember when he gave that ball to Garcia in the 5th and 6th inning? And the Angels did not like that.
Not just a spot, the spot. Actually, with the all-new Nissan Frontier, you know a bunch of them. But the key to these great spots, being able to reach them in the first place. Your spot is out there. Find your Frontier in the all-new 2022 Nissan Frontier with standard 310 horsepower, advanced tech, and 281 pound-foot of torque.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end the game in a tie. The type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs and overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Spectrum Mobile is reinventing wireless again. Get unlimited on 2+ lines for $29.99 a month per line. No contracts, no added taxes or fees. Includes nationwide 5G. Save up to 60% with Spectrum Mobile. Get unlimited on 2+ lines for $29.99 a month. Call 855-438-2999 or visit the store near you. Offer valid for new customers on 2+ unlimited lines.
It's a lofty text we just got. I love it.
It is a lofty text. And no. No.
Remember, I was the one getting yelled at for blowing smoke up their backsides back in July when I covered for you and talked
Right.
to Eric Cole from Talking Chop. I was like, I don't think this is all lost here. You guys need to calm down. They're like, you're lying to us. You're trying to get us excited to be disappointed again. I was like, all right, believe what you want.
And remember, the best windows are American made.
Haunted Attraction is now open. Voted one of America's top haunts and #1 in South Carolina. Venture through the haunted house and trail full of elaborate sets.
20 seconds.
And top-notch actors. Play our creepy carnival games and escape rooms, or check out our brand new 18-hole Ghost Town mini golf. Grab your friends and get ready to scream. Located in Piedmont off I-85, exit 35. Buy your tickets now at MadWorldAttractions.com. That's MadWorldAttractions.com.
We're here to take over.
Named the best sports talk show in South Carolina.
Rob Diddy, you. It is the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. Welcome in. Great to have you. 844-GSP, ESPN, 844-477-3776. Keegan says, are there any tickets left for the Braves bandwagon? I'd like to hop on.
All aboard.
Always room, man. Always room for the bandwagon fans. ESPN, Braves in 6. Stone Cold Steve Austin Riley is your World Series
Yes.
MVP. This will be his national breakout, and he won't be a secret anymore. It's Riley's team moving forward, even in front of Freeman and a healthy Ronald Acuna. Diddy, it's all yours.
The last part's not true. I don't hate the first part, though. I love the first part, especially the confidence. I love that Riley could definitely be that guy in this series. I really think he could end up being that guy if it goes the Braves' way. But even with Freeman getting older, you're not putting him in front of Freeman and Acuna Jr. as the best player on this team. And it's his team. This is Freeman's team, and it's going to be Acuna's team.
Yeah.
When Freeman moves on.
You give
Hopefully
him,
to retirement.
You give him, I was going to say, you give him Freddie a
to
lifetime
retirement.
contract.
Oh, I wish. Yeah.
I mean, Freddie been there a hot minute, Jack.
Trust me, as a Red Sox fan, I'm all about lifetime contracts, and my team won't do it. So please, Atlanta, lock up your guys. Like, good Lord.
Freddie's what? Freddie's 32?
Yeah.
32,
somewhere
31,
in there.
32?
Efforting.
I think he's 32 because I want to say he's like, I want to say 32. Anyway, it is absolutely. Listen,
32.
Stone Cold Steve Austin Riley was great in the divisional series.
Yeah.
Completely disappeared in the NLCS. No, I take that back. At the plate, he was a phenomenal defender. I mean, Gold Glove caliber defender in the field for the Braves in the CS. Not so much from the plate.
Mm-hmm.
But Freddie Freeman was average at the dish in the NLCS too.
Yeah.
I mean, it was Eddie Rosario. It was Jock Peterson. It was those outfielders that stepped up and filled that void when Freddie disappeared too. But no, I agree with you, Diddy. It's Freeman's team. If Ronnie Acuna is in this lineup, I think it probably frees Freddie up just a little bit.
Yeah.
Texas says Riley outplayed Freeman all year. You got to take on that one?
I don't know if it's all year.
I think there were spots.
There were spots. There were definitely spots. And down the stretch, he was hotter for sure. But that's what happened. That's baseball.
Either way,
that's baseball anyway. It doesn't make Freeman's an MVP, former MVP. Freeman's the star of this team. He is the heart, the soul, the embodiment of what this Atlanta Braves team is. That's Freddie Freeman. It's nobody else.
Until it's not, and then it's Ronnie Acuna.
Yeah.
I love Stone Cold Steve Austin Riley.
Yeah.
I don't just hand out wrestler nicknames for fun. That's earned and not given.
Yeah.
But it's Ronnie's team next. 100%. Texter Sean. Texting the show. Sean says, Astros in 5. They have a huge chip on their shoulders. August 2nd, I texted in and said Astros Dodgers, and I think the Astros have just gotten better. Nobody picking the Astros is going to get heat from me.
No.
Like, you're not getting heat from me.
I think the only people that deserve heat are anybody calling for sweeps. Either way.
Yeah. I don't see a sweep. Honestly, I don't see a 5-game series either.
I really don't either.
I don't see a 5-game series either. You go Astros in 6, I can jump on board with that. Astros in 7, I'm more comfortable. Braves in 6, Braves in 7. I'm good with any of those 4 picks. The whole chip on their shoulder thing, I mean, do they? Like, all right. So, your team was the team that got caught speeding.
Yeah.
Okay? Everybody speeds. You got caught. You got to take your lump. That's how it goes. Unfortunately, the fans are never going to let that go.
No.
Right? But is that motivation to win a World Series? Like, we need to, what are you trying to prove? They already won one.
Yeah, there's always far too much speculation about like legacies and what these guys care about. Like, what they care about is winning. I don't think it matters what happened with that. I don't think it matters what happened with anybody's outsider thoughts about 2017. What matters is if they get the dubs now and raise the commissioner's trophy in a week.
Yeah.
That's what they care about. There's no chip on their shoulder, I don't think, because I don't think that they're the kind of player that needs chips. Those guys on that team, that lineup is insane because that's the thing that made us so mad when we found out about 2017. They're so good. Why did you have to do that to that level? You know, that's what was frustrating about it all. This was a team that easily could have been in that World Series without it. So we got mad because they got caught doing it. So I don't see them having that need for a chip because they're good enough to not need a chip at all.
Yeah, I guess that's my question is like, in fact, I was looking at an article earlier today that was written by one of the guys down in Houston. And you know, listen, you can't always go with what the local beat writers are saying, right? Because they're giving you the unless it's Bill Plaschke and then LOL. But
Lord.
They put up a headline that says Astros say they're not motivated by narratives or outside noise. Quote, we all want to win, end quote. Jesse Rogers wrote it. Rogers said the Houston Astros are sticking to a theme they've mastered since returning to the national stage after the sign stealing scandal came to light in 2019. They're not out to prove anything except that they're the best team in baseball, end quote. And they might be.
They might be.
They might be.
I wouldn't say top to bottom, though.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that pitching.
But a lot of those guys on that team aren't there anymore, right? Like
Yeah.
a handful of them have moved on. The manager is now in Boston.
Mhm.
Like who
Springer's in Toronto.
Yeah. I mean, you got Altuve. Although I will tell you, one of my favorite moments was after he hit that Rome worm and it came across and he was
Yeah.
holding his jersey tight to not get ripped off. I'm
Yeah.
like,
See, what they did wrong after all of this is they talked.
yeah.
Just shut up about
Yeah.
it. He's like, oh, well, my girlfriend doesn't like me shirtless on TV. It's like, you're shirtless on every Instagram post you've ever made. That is a lie. Stop it. Like, come on. And then Bregman running his mouth. Like, you just had to calm down. Like, Correa handled it better than anybody. He just said, we're not thinking about it. We're moving on. We're playing baseball.
Yep.
And that's a pro. And I think the only time they actually did care about it and did try to wear it on their shoulder as a chip was the first half of 2020 when they sucked.
Who do they have left from that 2017 team? They've got Altuve,
Correa, Bregman.
and Bregman. Those are the three.
Was Yuri
those
there?
are the three big names. I don't think he was yet. Maybe I don't think he was though.
Tucker was not there yet.
Nope.
None of these pitchers were there.
Nope.
Because
It's just. I guess that's the thing is like, if you're in Houston now and you weren't in 2017, does it like what's it matter to you that people are booing you
Yeah.
for sign stealing? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If you're not Altuve, Correa, or Bregman, what do you care?
Yep.
Right? Like I think that I don't know. I think that narrative's kind of dead, right?
I think
Is
it is. I think it is, but it's not being killed. It's not being taken away. It was
the fans are never
half
gonna
the
let it
show
go.
of Greenberg before us on my way in. He was talking about if they win this, do they finally have a right to be in the Hall of Fame as if they're not Hall of Famers? Like Altuve is one of the best second basemen we've ever seen. Yeah, sure, Black Cloud, whatever. But the guy still has how many years left? A lot. And the guy's probably going to be a Hall of Famer, regardless of if they win this World Series or not.
Yep.
So it's just it's that typical we need to fill some time topic that's being thrown around the entire country right now, and that's what happens. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's like it's not a bad thing. We're bringing up the fact that other people are making it like the main issue.
We're not talking about it. We're talking about the fact
That's
that
right.
we're talking about it.
It's like the Daily Show of sports kind of deal.
I did wake up. I did wake up to it. I got up this morning.
Yeah.
And I'm getting ready for work. I got up this morning. I'm getting ready for work. And as I'm doing so, my phone, ding, you have a new email. It doesn't talk to me, but like, anyway, I pull up the email and it's an email from a guy who's like, I don't have it pulled up, so I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said to me something along the lines of, Rob, you need to take your job more seriously. This childish, immature, on-air personality that you've cultivated is below the expected entertainment level for a professional sports talk radio show. I was like, no,
not
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I appreciate it. Show's not for everybody. It's like Marshawn Lynch on the Manning cast. Sometimes it just gets a little weird.
Sometimes it gets
I
weird.
love that he opened with, I did a handful of shots of Courvoisier before I come on. And Peyton, you could tell Peyton was already nervous. And then like 2 minutes in, Marshawn drops a WTF, but like the full version.
The full version, yeah.
On the show. They eventually have to boot him. And then Peyton comes back and he's like, yeah, I understand some of y'all weren't crazy about the language, so we have to apologize for that. You know what? Give me an uncensored Marshawn Peyton broadcast. Give me that show and leave it uncensored. Put up a warning in the corner. It's TVMA, and let Marshawn and Brady and the rest of the gang just talk about whatever the hell they want to talk about with no holds barred. Give me that show. I put up, here you go. I'll quiz Diddy real quick. I put up on my Twitter account last week. I said, cursing on a show. How do you feel about it? And the options were, hate it. I won't listen to the show anymore. Not a fan, but I'll still listen to the show unless it gets out of control. C, don't really care either way. Or D, I like it. It makes people sound more honest and genuine and true to themselves. Which do you think of those four options actually won that poll?
I mean, I feel like regionally it's going to be A, but the way you're leading in makes me think we had an awesome vote on that. Where did it go?
It was over 50% don't care either way.
Okay.
Genuinely don't care. They're like, if that's how you talk, that's how you talk. It is what it is.
Well, that's good. I like that too.
I was shocked. I thought we were going to see, especially considering it was an online poll, which is, skews younger.
Yeah.
Kind of assumed it would be either that or go crazy. It makes the show sound more genuine if that's who you are. But yeah, that was it.
Yeah, Unfiltered's better in a lot of ways. Not necessarily like in this format. We're not
allowed to.
Well, we're not allowed as it is, but even if we were doing like a podcast, there's not as much of a need when you're just, talking some sports with your buddy. It's not really as, needed there. But in that situation last night, they showed The Last Dance uncensored on ESPN2 while it was censored on ESPN1. So why can't you do the same thing last night with the Manning cast uncensored and then, watch the regular broadcast if you don't want your kids to hear that? Yeah. And it's a great team on that regular broadcast now, too, by the way.
Put a little banner. They killed me last night. They were, listen, and
I didn't watch much.
Taught me off the ledge here. Maybe it's just because I'm a Saints fan.
Fair.
My God, did they not stop kissing the ass of the Seahawks square with the lips, man? It's like, at one point, the Saints get the ball, and as they're driving to the red zone, and I know that they're talking about, like, how the sun works, but Levy says, when the Saints got the ball, it was sunny, but now it's dark outside. And it's like,
I heard that.
What? Like, I know you just mean that it's a long drive, but the way he said it made it sound like the Saints got the ball and therefore it got dark outside.
Not to mention, that's something that can happen in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not even that long of a drive would cause that.
There's one point in the second quarter where Levy says, and the Seahawks have been squarely in control of this game. And I'm like, it's 10-7 and the Saints are winning.
Yeah. What?
What?
What are you doing?
It's 10-7 and the Saints are winning, but the Seahawks have been squarely I actually like Levy. I like Levy.
Yeah.
I like Riddick.
Love Riddick.
They definitely play favorites in certain games. They
fair.
really do.
That's fair.
They do.
I mean,
Texas
it
says,
happens.
ESPN, Rob, shut up, or Diddy won't have anything to talk about in this segment. I trust Diddy. Diddy's got his stuff.
I got
together.
plenty, sir.
Baseball, ESPN, baseball purists would even vote unanimously for the sake of tradition. I can't see baseball purists putting cheaters in the Hall of Fame. By the way, I'm of the opinion that baseball purists ruin baseball for new fans.
Agreed.
I will shake hands with you on that comment.
Especially the Baseball Writers Association of America, who's made up a bunch of 95-year-old men who need to retire.
Back in 1904.
Bonds should be in. McGuire should be in. Clemens should be in. Here's the thing. This is a museum, right? It's the history of the game of baseball. So tell the whole history.
I would argue the Hall of Fame is not a museum.
It is a museum.
Nah, I would argue it's
not. It is the Cooperstown Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum.
Okay, if you want to tell their story in the museum, that's fine. But the Hall of Fame is not a museum; it's a Hall of Fame. There's a difference.
But there's 650 guys that were on the Miller Report.
Yeah, but
how many guys hit the 660 home runs or 632 home runs, whatever it was, 62?
Not many.
One.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you deserve it, but tell the story. Why would he put over here and not with Babe Ruth?
Put him up there, but put both big and little head bust.
Yeah.
Put his little head bust and his big head bust.
Pittsburgh, San Francisco.
Texter says, option D, I like cursing in the show. Also, bleep the Astros.
Way to go.
All right. Let's see. The guy on Greeny earlier brought up a great point. The Astros have won 18 road games since 2007. I'm assuming these are playoff games.
Yeah.
18 road playoff games since 2017. The Yankees have won 11 total playoff games for comparison. Oh, listen, I'm not making the argument that in fact, I believe I've already said, when it comes down to just baseball, the Astros might be the best baseball team in this postseason as a consistent team. I think the Dodgers were hotter longer. I think the Giants were hotter longer. But if I had to take a team to trust over a 20-game span, any 20 random games, it would have been the Astros.
Yeah.
They're a very consistent team. The Braves are the most organically, chemically built team. I mean, this team wins and runs on emotion and momentum and all that. And again, the worst thing the Atlanta Braves had, I mean, it's great that you get to rest the arms, but the worst thing that the Braves have going is that they had to wait 3 days from game 6 to game 1 because and do a travel day because some of that momentum and that enthusiasm maybe gets left on the plane. That's the only bad thing I've got right now for the ATL.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, we're going to circle back to that coming up in a minute. Texter says, dude, he says, Diddy, would you put Milli Vanilli in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
I didn't realize
LOL.
somebody else hit the home runs for Barry Bonds. I didn't know that there was a stand-in double who was fake swinging for him.
How many of those 660? How many of those 660 got over the wall by a foot that don't go if he's not juiced?
Not that many for him.
Come on,
Not that
Diddy.
many for him. Who got cheated in that turnaround?
See, all of the above.
Nobody. The whole league was on it. Stop. Tell the story of the game. This is the PED era wing. Here's where the best players of this era are.
Just a wing, but it's shaped like a syringe. Let's take a break. When we come back, Dabo has had some interesting comments over the past few days. I've got them for you. We're going to break them down when we come back on the Rob Brown Show. My name is Rob. Diddy on the ones and twos, hanging out with us for the rest of the day on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
Experience the best golf the Low Country has to offer at Fripp Island Golf and Beach Resort. Both of our 18-hole championship golf courses offer stunning natural beauty and challenging play. Golf at either Ocean Creek, featuring the Great Salt Marsh, or Ocean Point, showcasing 10 holes along the Atlantic. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff can create a custom stay and play accommodations package in one of our fantastic vacation rentals.
Asterisk for chumps. It happened.
This report is sponsored by Bojangles.
It's bow time. Some folks
Keegan, he was always smoking homers. Even skinny.
And you can snap up 2 of them for just $5. Go ahead. Call it a comeback. It's bow time.
What he wasn't doing, skinny Keegan, was throwing out Sid Bream at home plate. How many times? I don't have enough time.
This view was worth the hike.
Right? And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes, I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. It's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
So fun fact, Kyle Tucker
Yep.
is my best friend from high school's brother, or cousin.
Nice.
Brother, cousin.
45 seconds.
ESPN put cheaters in the hall under the condition their bus has to have a Mr. Potato Head style glasses, nose, mustache with a bronze asterisk. If they don't put who? Oh my God, I'm forgetting his name. Who was the Mets manager that came out that day with the fake
Bobby
mustache?
Valentine.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest moments in
It
baseball
really
history.
is. He got thrown out, came back up.
Dude comes out in all Mets gear with a fake mustache, and I'm
like Bobby V. Come on.
put on any other shirt, man.
That guy became legendary in some of the worst ways possible,
Oh yeah,
especially when he coached the Red Sox for a year. That was a terrible season for him. He did have one of the most legendary press conferences, though, with the Red Sox that we used 90% of it as drops for a good month on the show I was doing back then. Coming back.
it is the Rob Brown Show right here on ESPN Upstate. Dabo Swinney's had some interesting comments I wanted to break down over the last couple of really days. And yesterday he said, and I'm paraphrasing because I couldn't find the actual audio from it, but he was quoted by a couple of different sources at a press conference saying, we won't win the 2021 national championship, but that doesn't mean we stink. end quote. And I kind of found that comment interesting, Diddy, because it's obviously quite relative, right? Like compared to Vanderbilt, you don't stink. Compared to FSU, you don't stink, although FSU's on a 3-game win streak now after starting 0-4. Compared to a lot of teams, you don't stink. But compared to what we expected out of Clemson this year, you do.
Yeah.
Right? And maybe I'm reading too much into this. But when I heard that quote, the first thing I thought was, it almost kind of feels like Dabo's kind of trying intentionally to lower the standards a little bit, right? Like he's trying to, which maybe isn't a bad thing. There's a lot of Clemson fans that don't remember before the last 7 years.
Yeah. When
Clemson was an afterthought in the ACC, right? When it was FSU's division, or when there really was no favorite, but Clemson wasn't one at the time. A lot of fans don't remember 7 years ago. And it almost felt to me like Dabo was maybe trying to lower the expectations a little bit. And I wonder if I'm reading this the right way, if maybe that's Dabo knows the road to bring Clemson back to the expectations of playoffs or bust. Maybe he knows the road back to there is a bit arduous, right? Like it's not easy. Dabo got very lucky in really finding 3 consecutive generational quarterbacks, one after the next. It ain't easy to do. Very, very, very few times do you see 3 back-to-back quarterbacks come in at the level where having a great quarterback makes or breaks your team, right? It doesn't mean you will be successful with one, but it is a huge boost.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean you can't be successful without one, but it makes it a lot harder. Name me the last national championship team that won a national championship with an average quarterback. Doesn't happen very often, right? There's always a Jameis or a Lawrence or a Fields or somebody like that involved, or a Burrow. There's always almost always a great quarterback involved. It feels to me, Diddy, after that comment, like Dabo knows the road back to the playoff is not going to be an easy one, because they thought they had stumbled into another generational quarterback in DJ. It's not working out. Doesn't look like it's getting any better. Taysom Fomachaw may or may not be the guy to step in and fill that role, but he got his chance this past weekend. DJ stepped in last year in that Notre Dame game, had a good game. Not great, but a good game, and got them through those overtimes. Taysom had his chance to step in this weekend and didn't really step. I mean, DJ came back out later on in the game, tells you all you need to know. It almost felt to me when I read these comments from Dabo, Diddy, like maybe he's intentionally trying to lower the bar of Clemson fans' expectations, because he knows the road back to the playoff is not an easy one.
Yeah, and I think that the expectations of the fans got to a point in which, the heat's on because of one bad season after 6 straight playoff appearances, 2 national championships, all this greatness that happened. And I get the frustration. I get all of it, but you had to see some of this coming eventually, right? Like eventually there's going to be down years. And maybe you didn't want it to look as bad as this year does, but it's a down year that also is plagued by injury, top to bottom.
Sure.
And it's caused zero depth on that offensive line, which is just complete patchwork and not good. It's caused there to really be no playmakers to help out DJ. And then DJ's just not looking very good either offensively. And now you see the defense starting to stumble because, man, they're just getting worked. They're getting worked and worn out, and they're going to start giving up more yards down the stretch if this offense can't keep them off the field. So I think he is kind of halfway doing that, what you're saying, trying to lower that expectation just a little, maybe show a little bit of the reality of the situation and say, hey, not everybody's Alabama. Not everybody can be in the playoff every single year, and nobody else does. And nobody else in the playoff era has done what Clemson has done in the playoff era except for Alabama. So it is that lower expectation, but I also think it's just Dabo being Dabo and trying to somehow find a positive spin to something, because there's not much to come out of that game against Pitt positive. We talked about that yesterday. There was really not much to pull from that game and say, hey, at least this happened. But he's trying to find that positive glow, and that's the only thing he could come up with, is really what I think it is.
I mean, there is none right now, right?
There's not.
Like, here's the thing. If they were a 2-loss team, verge of the playoffs, just dropped Georgia and even dropped NC State, you could look at it and go, tough season.
Yeah.
Happens, right? Even, Ohio State's going to have a 2-loss season. Bama has a 2-loss season. They may have one this year. They got Georgia at the SEC title game. Happens. You're in a 3-loss season and may not be done with the L's.
No.
So you have two options here, which is if you're Dabo, you can come out and you can go, we expect greatness. We didn't reach it. It's unacceptable, yada, yada, yada. But let's be honest, Dabo Swinney never says a negative word about Clemson. Never has, never will. It's part of the reason Clemson fans are in love with Dabo.
Yeah.
He never says anything negative about that squad. But the only way to handle this, the only way to get through this, the only way to get through and reset the expectations of Clemson fans who, I got to tell you, I've talked to a lot of them. And the majority of them are going, oh, we're back next year, right? We just got to find the right guy and we're back next year. Maybe. Man, I'm not saying he won't be, but it's not going to be easy. And this quote from Dabo just makes me feel like he is grabbing the bar and just dropping it down a handful of rungs now, so that when the offseason rolls around, fans aren't going, hey, it's playoffs or busts. They're going, hey, let's get 11 wins and we'll call that improvement, right? To drop the expectations down, knowing that it kind of resets for him, especially at a point where you got every national media outlet in the country going, is it time for Dabo to move on? Is it time for him to go to another D1 program like LSU? Is it time for him to go to the NFL? There's going to be 5 or 6 NFL coaching jobs open. And the rumor for years has been that when Dabo leaves, he's going to the league. Do you jump out while the ship's on fire and save yourself, or does he rectify the problem? Him lowering the bar of expectations makes me wonder if there's not something more behind it.
Yeah, that could be, but I still don't see him leaving. I don't see somebody in his position. I mean, he's got one of those positions that doesn't seem real anymore. Those positions we saw back in the day with a Bobby Bowden at Florida, with a Joe Pa at Penn State, with all these guys that like basically were locked into lifetime contracts if they want them. I think it has to get real bad for a prolonged period of time for him to actually leave. So I don't think that it has anything to do with the thought process of maybe taking another job or thinking about leaving because things look bad this year. I do think that he's trying to show that realism of college football to the fans that are fairly, spoiled at this point. He has kind of spoiled his fan base because he's given them everything in the last handful of years, everything that all of us want down in Columbia. We're dying to have that happen for us. So he's trying to say, hey guys, you just got to know sometimes it's a rough one and then you can try to bounce back. And there might need to be a slow build back to a playoff team. And it might take another 2 years to get back to that level. So that might be what that lower the bar is, but I don't think it has anything to do with him wanting to go anywhere. I think he's locked. This is a dream job for a guy like him who was never supposed to make it as a head coach. And now he's like a legend.
Yeah, but listen, I'll tell you right now, so for instance, this job for me is a dream job. I'm in a place I love.
Yeah.
I'm doing what I love for a company that genuinely cares, for management that every week I talk to management and they go, what can we invest in the state? What can we be doing to grow the station, et cetera? This is a dream job for me. And I will tell you that getting this job has been a huge, huge asset for me in addition to my life. But if tomorrow I get the call that from ESPN that goes, do you want to call Monday Night Football next year?
Yeah.
I love y'all. Every one of y'all. I'll hug every neck in Greenville and Spartanburg, South Carolina, but I'm taking that gig. Well, especially if I'm in a spot where like the ratings are bad, you're right, which they're not, but if they were, But if you're Dabo and the ratings are bad, which they are, the NFL comes calling and goes, we're going to let you be what Herb was supposed to be in Jacksonville because we believe in you. Come on. And I'll tell you straight up, I don't think Dabo works in the NFL. I don't either. I don't think his coaching style translates. It's not the same mentality. It's not. I think Dabo's kind of like same reason Saban failed in the NFL. Aside from his trainer screwing up and whiffing on Drew Brees, Nick Saban has a very every little detail has to run through him mentality, and that didn't work in the NFL. You got to trust guys to do their job in the NFL and keep on top of them, but trust them. I don't think he works in the NFL, which leads me, and I think there's a part of him that might know that.
Yeah.
So I don't think he jumps, but you got to think if there's a time for it to happen, it's now. Does this comment mean anything? Got a couple of texts that we've got. We're going to answer those when we come back on the Rob Brown Show. Rob, Diddy, it's ESPN Upstate.
just noticed how long this break was. I was like, oh crap. I don't know if there's a job out there for Dabo that's as big of a leap as ESPN Upstate to Monday Night Football, though. That's a pretty big leap.
I mean, look, I've said before and I'll say again, Clemson to LSU's a step up. Not a huge one. Not
Yeah.
Mars, but it's a step up. I mean, the only question is, the only person we've never say he has interest in the NFL is Dabo himself.
Yeah.
But there's so much smoke and he's never shot it down.
True.
And remember when they started talking NIL, remember his quote was, if we're going to start giving college players money, maybe I'll go ahead and move to the NFL. Which I'll think of it. He said, I will go ahead, which means he's playing. So
The manufacturing event you've been waiting for is back. South Tech 2021 is taking place October 26th through the 28th at Greenville Convention Center. If you are a small to mid-sized manufacturer, you and your team can't afford to miss this 3-day in-person Southeast manufacturing event. Whether your business is looking to get hands-on demonstrations, reduce costs, identify new markets, or maintain manufacturing competitiveness, South Tech has the technologies, experts, and industry leaders you rely on to make critical connections. South Tech features exhibits from more than 230 companies, daily keynotes.
Say Cajun food is a performance-enhancing drug, Keegan. It absolutely is. Absolutely is. Old Zion. Rumor is he checked in at over 300 pounds in preseason workouts. That's insanity.
Mad World Haunted Attraction is now open. Voted one of America's top haunts and #1 in South Carolina. Experience the biggest and scariest haunted attraction, full of dark woods, incredible set designs, special effects, and top-notch actors. Grab your friends and get ready to scream. Mad World is more than just a haunted house. There are escape rooms, scary carnival games, concessions, bonfire, amazing photo opportunities, a good shop, and our brand new 18-hole Ghost Town Mini Golf. Mad World has scary.
Chair's gonna get me killed.
Adults, teenagers, and the adrenaline junkies at heart. Located in Piedmont off I-85, exit 35. Mad World Haunted Attraction is the place to be this Halloween season.
Zion's juice is Cajun food. That's funny.
MadWorldAttractions.com. That's MadWorldAttractions.com.
Kobe Pace is out for Clemson in COVID protocol. So they just lost their only running back that's doing anything.
Oh, no.
I'll tell you, FSU opened as 13.5-point dogs, and I hammered that line. It's now down to 9.5. I got it locked in at 13.5.
That's awesome. When's Faces and Heels, by the way?
Probably 220.
It's a rejoin, right?
Yeah.
Or do you come back and then go?
Yeah. Let's do it that way, yeah.
220. Last hour. So second segment, 2 o'clock hour.
The smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free.
Right.
That's right.
What's that?
Second segment, 2 o'clock hour.
Yeah. We've got your segment coming up at 1:20. Joe Giglio, the BetQL guy, and the segment after that. Faces and Heels 2:20, Twitter to end it.
Word. All right, everything's in the log now. Oh boy.
Think you might have ED? Not sure? Well, we'd like to let you in on a little secret. ED is common. About 40% of men experience ED by age 40. The solution is simple. Find it at 4hims.com.
There was no copay, and the medication was shipped right to my door. Just like
Hims took care of it. Fast and easy. Now our love life is better than ever. Get access to doctors online who can prescribe you FDA-approved ED medication if appropriate. The same active ingredient as name brands, but 90% cheaper. Skip
20.
waiting rooms and pharmacy lines. Get a free medical consultation and rise to the occasion or your money back. Go to 4hims.com
forhands.com/joy to get your first visit free. No copay required. The only way to get this special offer
What
is
up, Zach?
forhands.com/joy. FORHINS.com/JOY.
All right, handful of texts that have come in. Texter says, put baseball cheaters in the hall under the condition their bust has to have a Mr. Potato Head style glasses, nose, a mustache with a bronze asterisk. Yeah, Bobby Valentine style. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. ESPN Bama used to do that with defense and running backs, but recently they have had good quarterbacks. It's amazing how talent begets talent, isn't it? Texter, are we trying to say that Dat Boy is trying to lower the bar? Yes, that's what I'm saying. Exactly what I'm saying. Texter says, the thing is also the ACC in its current form is garbage. So does Clemson really have an excuse to not be in a national championship? I don't think they have any excuses. I don't think there are excuses here. I think there are reasons.
Yeah.
DJ's not as good as he was sold on being. Oh, by the way, breaking news. Breaking news brought to you by our friends at BetQL. Get better, get smarter, beat the books with our friends at BetQL, BetQL.com. How about this? Kobe Pace out for Saturday's matchup against Florida State. He is in COVID protocols. There it goes. Look at Diddy. Look at Diddy on the ones today. I love it. Kobe Pace, running back
That's not
for your
good.
Clemson Tigers, out for this Saturday's matchup against the Florida State University at home. He's in COVID protocols now. Do not know vaccination status, etc. What I do know is he is now out, which means one of the, if there are enough to be called bright spots, not available. FSU started as a 12.5, 13.5 point underdog. That line is now inside of double digits, down to 9.5 now.
Ooh.
And moving down by the day. Bettors are hammering FSU right now. Texas, how many more years until Clemson turns into Mark Richt era Georgia? One, if it keeps up this way. Coming up next, we got more baseball talk on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
Thing is, he already won 2 titles, so he's better than Mark Richt.
True.
So he wins. And again, why is that such a bad thing? I guess because my team's never going to win a championship. I will take a Mark Richt era. Give me 10 wins a year every year with a couple SEC championship appearances.
Eventually, even a team that could never, once you do. What's the old phrase? Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Yeah. We're not even invited. Like, I didn't even get an invitation to the wedding. Oh, yeah.
Jameis Winston, 19 of 35 passing, 222 yards, 1 touchdown. That was hauled in by Alvin Kamara Jr. 10 catches, 128 yards overall. New Orleans improves to 4-2 with the win. The Seahawks drop to 2-5. Classic Rock 101.1 airs Carolina Panthers football every Sunday. Carolina kickoff starts 2 hours before kickoff. That's the Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders on ESPN Upstate.
Have you heard the Rob Brown Show?
I have for years said. Now that we have the
Well, good. You're listening now.
And the only argument that I ever get in response is, well, what about the human element?
I want the human element. I want to be able to be mad at the umpire, at the referee for making a bad call. That adds to the sporting experience. If you throw in the robots, you throw in the AI, you're just one step closer to robot domination in all things as we know it. But if that's what you want, Rob, then you go right ahead and push for that. I, myself, believe in human beings and want to live a little bit longer.
So I just want to make sure your argument against automated balls and strikes is Skynet.
Absolutely.
That's what you're telling me.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
That's
good stuff.
Robo umpires, the next thing you know, time-traveling time saviors.
Read some articles. They'll scare you to death.
Alexa, was that a ball or a strike?
I'm sorry. I'm busy contemplating your doom. Please try again later.
That's good.
The majority of the segments we do, Diddy, are what some people would describe as dumb.
So it's supposed to be, right? Too many people take this position too seriously. We get
I don't know how you do take it seriously.
I don't know.
There are segments you take seriously.
Oh, yeah. But, like, We get to sit here and just talk sports for 3 hours. Why is it serious?
Why would you not love this?
It's fun. This is great. Here we go.
All right, away we go. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. Hour number 2 starts right now. This is ESPN Upstate. I am Rob Brown. Directly across from me, the guy in charge of the broadcast today, the great one, Diddy.
Hello.
Is at the helm, working the ones and twos for you. Phone lines are open, 844-GSP-ESPN, 844-477-3776. You can also hit us up on Twitter, at The Rob Brown Show. That'd be my handle. That's how you get to me, at The Rob Brown Show. Hit Diddy up at Diddy33, Dittii33, at Diddy33. Get him some more follows. And, of course, you can also get at everybody at the station at ESPN Upstate, at ESPN Upstate. Follow us there. All your breaking news and whatnot goes up on the line there. Check us out on Facebook, too. Facebook.com/ESPN Upstate. Facebook.com/ESPN Upstate if you want to go in that direction. How else? Text line. Ingles Market text line is open at 71307, 71307. That is the Ingles Market text line number. Start your text with the ESPN so we can read them on the air. As we did with the texter who said, how many more years until Clemson turns into a Mark Richt era Georgia? I mean, they got hardware already, right? Like that was the whole thing with Mark
They've already
Richt.
beat it out.
Yeah.
And again, I guess because, my team's never getting to that level. I'll take a Mark Richt era if we could get one down in Columbia. 10 wins a year, some SEC championship appearances. Let's do this. Can I get that, please? Please.
At some point, you get tired of being the bridesmaid, right? Like at some point you get tired of being the bridesmaid. And I gotta think Clemson fans, after having been the bride many times, at some point are going to go, nope, we expect the playoffs. Like we expect playoffs. Anything less than the playoffs is considered a failure. And that's why I wondered if this comment yesterday from Dabo Swinney about, hey, we may not make the playoffs or win the championship this year, but that doesn't mean we stink, right? Aren't you kind of trying to lower the bar away from those playoff or bust expectations? It's what it feels like to me, right? Came into the year, started what? Number 2 in the AP poll to start? Number 3 in the AP poll to start? The expectations were playoff or bust. And look, it's hard to do.
Yeah.
But looking at Alabama, they lost one game on the road. Texas A&M, where are they right now? Number 3, back in the playoffs. All right. Ohio State lost a game to Oregon at home. Tough L. Where are they at right now? Number 5. Just need a and they'll get it because either Alabama or Georgia's got to lose. If Georgia loses, you got to hope they get blowed out in the like demolished in the SEC championship game by Alabama. Wouldn't bank on it.
No.
But that's your hope. Anyway, the expectations open, right? The expectations open with this is a playoff team. They open with that. You are not just not a playoff team. You're on the outside looking in for the ACC championship now.
Yep. You
need help to make forget win, make the ACC championship game. And if you make the ACC championship game, you still got to recognize that you are going to need help from the other side to get there because there could be a 6-1 Pitt team waiting for you there. There could be a half-decent 6-2 Virginia team. North Carolina's 4-3. I think they may be my most disappointing team in college football 2021, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But they can put a game together, right? They can put a game together. You got Georgia Tech, who took you to the edge in your own house waiting for you in Charlotte, North Carolina. And that's if you can get by undefeated Wake Forest. 5-2 NC State. You will need help because they also have the tiebreaker of you via heads-up victory.
Yep.
And all of that works under the assumption, look, you got a 3-4 FSU team that is improving week by week after starting 0-4 since the first time since like 1971, who's getting better by the week. You've just lost your starting running back to COVID protocols, one of the few bright spots on this team. There's no guarantee there's not another L or two coming down the pipe. By the way, I know they've looked bad. I don't think anybody should have realistic expectations today that South Carolina can beat Clemson. But that game's at Willie B. It's likely going to be a night game. Weird things happen in those kind of rivalry games, Diddy. And this is not a year where you go, yeah, weird things happen in rivalry games, but Clemson's just levels better than South Carolina. They're really not right now.
No, they're not. And it's hard to say. I mean, as bad as South Carolina is, it's hard to believe that you could say that. But just Clemson continues to show us that week in and week out that this team just doesn't have it. And there's a lot of reasons. I mean, people can call them excuses. People can call them what they want. The reasons, the injuries have plagued them. The lack of depth has plagued them. They're just struggling to keep this team going with everything they've dealt with, from losing guys to the NFL, losing guys to the transfer portal, and losing guys to injury, that this is just where they're at right now. And it is frustrating. And it is, something that you have to deal with in college football for every every program. They're not franchises. They basically are nowadays, I guess. But every program except for Alabama deals with this. You get to the top, you have a good run for a few years, and then you fall down a little bit. Clemson hasn't done that in a while. So you had to see it coming eventually. We all kind of thought it was that Kelly Bryant year, but then they made the playoff anyway. So this is just that year, and you got to deal with it. And if it's called lowering the bar, then I guess it's lowering the bar. It's just Dabo, I think, saying, hey, guys, don't try to run me out of town after one bad one. This is just, doesn't mean we stink forever here. Just let's hold out hope that maybe next year, hopefully in 2 years, things are back to normal. But right now, this isn't fun.
And that's my question, right?
Yep.
Like, that is my question. My question is this Dabo trying to lower the bar of expectations?
Yeah.
Because if it is, you got to wonder what that means for what is effectively a small scale rebuild. All right. This is not a blow up the program and start it back up, but we got to be honest that there are changes that need to be made, right? I'll tell you right now, the play calling on the offensive side of the ball is bad. It's predictable. It's vanilla. It's routine. It's not going great, right? So there clearly is a need to make some changes here and there. So we'll see where it goes. Dan has emailed the show. Dan says, Rob, I'm an Ohio State fan living in Greenville. For the last 6 years or so, I've listened to Clemson fans talk about their dynasty. A 6-year run is not a dynasty. Clemson's dynasty is over all 6 years of it. Thanks for giving me a chance to say this. Have a great day, Dan. Thanks for the email, bud. Great to have you on the show. I would say Clemson built a dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
I would also say the dynasty is not over. I will say the enemies are at the gates and the walls are falling. All right? The enemies at the gates and the walls are falling. What do? Can you rebuild the walls fast enough? Can you defend this house while you make the repairs necessary to get back on top? And again, it's one thing for the king to come out and say, we are going to rebuild these walls. Mm-hmm. We are going to hold off the enemy and we're going to keep this castle standing. It's another thing for him to come out and go, yeah, the walls weren't that great to begin with, maybe the guys outside aren't that bad. Maybe we talk to them a little. It's not a great look.
We might let in 500-600 of them, but it doesn't mean we're going to lose.
Yeah, not a great look. New sound clip out here. Every time the word reasons is said, play a quick clip of Reasons by Earth, Wind, and Fire.
I love the Earth, Wind, and Fire reference. That's good.
Don't hate it. I've given my explanation before, right? There's a difference between reasons and excuses.
Yes.
And a lot of people confuse the two. To me, a reason is when something outside of your control changes the situation for the negative. An excuse is when something inside your control changes for the negative. Now, I'm going to give him the credit for this. I haven't heard Dabo make an excuse yet, right?
No.
I think he's avoided talking about the reasons that Clemson is struggling, but I haven't heard him make an excuse. I could hear the potential for him to make up some excuses. Wow, well, we had the COVID year and we had this and we had that. Well, so did everybody else. Like, you're not special for that. I haven't heard him make an excuse, but I also haven't heard him really address the reasons, right? Like, I haven't heard him, and I, for the most part, listen to as many of the press conferences and radio shows and podcasts as I can. When he's asked about play calling, there's always something, right? Well, we gotta do a little this, a little that. Like, he never really addresses it, which is his right. I mean, it's his program to run the way he wants. He doesn't owe anybody answers other than his bosses. But yeah, man, I think there's a handful of reasons, and I think at this point, if you're a Clemson fan, you want to know what the reasons are, not the excuses. You want to know what the reasons are. What is outside of your control that's prevented you from being the team that we expected you to be?
Yeah.
And how are you going to address them? Because if you're a Clemson fan, I want to know, am I still on board? Right now, I don't think 1 year of underwhelming performance is enough that you're a Clemson fan that you jump ship.
Yeah.
Right. You don't get, and when I say ship, I mean Dabo, not the university. I'm talking about Dabo as a coach. I've seen a couple of Clemson fans. Oh, it's time. Dabo's gotten passed. He needs, bro, you gotta slow your roll a little bit.
My goodness.
Slow your roll just a little bit. It's a little crazy. But you gotta think, it's so, well, like where is that line? Like, where's the line? Is it back-to-back 8-4 seasons? Is it 3 back-to-back 8-4 seasons? Is it going to take a 6-6 year? Is it going to get to a point? Because remember, when Jimbo at Florida State was approaching the end of his tenure, Florida State fans were in the same spot, right? We got Jameis Winston. We won a national championship in 2013. When do we jump off the Jimbo bandwagon? And FSU fans missed the mark. They jumped off too late. By the time they jumped off, Jimbo had done a lot of damage. Remember, Jimbo absolutely was telling the media, I love it here at Florida State. I'm never going anywhere. This is where I want to be. I plan on in fact, I laughed the other day because they asked Jimbo, would he go to LSU? Jimbo said, I plan on being here in Texas A&M for a long, long time.
Heard that before.
From that guy.
I think the same exact
because
sentence.
I went and pulled the quote. Exactly right. Pulled the quote when he was at FSU and they asked him about A&M. He said, I plan on being here for a long, long time.
Uh-oh.
I don't believe you anymore.
Yeah.
When you catch a girl running around on you and she says, I swear I'll never do it again, you are taking a mighty gamble.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I don't think Dabo has any reason to want out of Clemson unless he's ready, which we won't know until he pulls the trigger and makes the move.
Yeah.
Where do Clemson fans go, okay, we have to be worried because while he's done a hell of a lot of good at Clemson, what's happening now is going to take us back down to the bottom. Because Florida State missed it with Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah.
They missed it with Les Miles at LSU. It's happened to top-tier programs.
Yep.
And look at what happened to those two schools. Look at where they are now.
I almost wonder, is it back to that rule of 3? Like you give Beamer at least to year 3 to show some improvement. If for 3 years they continuously could start spiraling,
yeah,
you say now it's time.
Fair question.
So this year's first year of bad. If next year's bad, and then the year after starts bad, then you go, okay, it's not working anymore.
Yep.
But I don't think you can jump ship at all right now after you had 6 straight playoff appearances, 2 national championships, just because you have 1 bad season. And again, college football, you don't get to sign guys for 10, 15 years. They're gone in 4. And getting that once-in-a-generation talent is really impossible for a lot of colleges, and you did it 3 times in a row.
Completely agreed.
So that's miraculous, to be
Let's
honest.
take a break. When we come back, Diddy's got some baseball. Diddy, it's the Diddy takeover.
That's right.
As Diddy walks us through bases loaded, we got a whole bunch of World Series baseball to talk about next. Rob Diddy, you. It's the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
At World.
That's what I was asking. I love Halloween. I really do. I love Halloween for a whole bunch of reasons, man. Like it's a holiday where you get to goof off and be somebody else and have some fun. And I'm really into like the weird macabre humor and stuff, you know. I love Halloween because it brings out some of those primal instincts, those primal fears in us that remind you what it means to be alive. And that's why you got to go see our friends at Mad World, because nobody in the upstate is better at bringing out those frights than our friends at Mad World. And even if you've been to Mad World before, you should go again because it is bigger, better, badder, and scarier than ever before. Mad World has this year more scenes than ever before, more haunts than ever before, more actors than ever before, better special effects than ever before, more practical effects than ever before. It is an experience unlike any other, which is why it is consistently voted the #1 haunted attraction in all of South Carolina, one of the best haunts in the United States of America, and it's right here in our own backyard. Located off of exit 35 off of Interstate 385 right by Piedmont. Go online to madworldattractions.com. Get your tickets early because as we get closer to Halloween, the lines get longer. Go to madworldattractions.com and get your tickets now for the 2021 version of Mad World.
Keegan called you out.
That's pretty routine.
I love scary movies.
Let me be abundantly clear, Keegan. Jump scares are cheap scares, okay? Taking the movie volume and telling it like this and then going, is cheating of a scare tactic, all right? Psychological fear, that's where it's at. Like that fear that like this could be real, like this could happen. That's the good stuff.
That's fair. I can accept that.
Yeah.
I like all of it.
I'll watch psychological thrillers all day.
Yeah.
Gore porn, don't do it. Saw does nothing for me.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the gore stuff.
Jump scare stuff does nothing for me. American Horror Story, like the first 2-3 seasons, love it.
Yeah.
Because it was never jump scare. They have them here and there.
Yeah.
But it was like, mess with your head. That's where it's at.
That's fair.
Sorry, ma'am. We're looking for a book titled Liberty Mutual Customizes Your Car
Liberty
Insurance,
Bibbity.
So you only pay for what you need. I don't think we carry that, but check non-fiction. He really does devour literature. Please leave. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
New school, new job, new home. Change is hard and can leave you feeling isolated. And divorce delivers one of life's hardest blows. The relationships you counted on are suddenly gone. But you don't have to walk through this alone. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has guided men through the challenges of divorce. You're not alone. Call Cordell & Cordell.
Online at CordellCordell.com. 5580 Place, Suite 900, Greenville, South Carolina, 29601. Joseph Cordell, House number
At Lowe's, we believe.
Oh, look at this. Keegan's all up in his Auburn fields too. I'll take that bet, Kay. I'll take that bet. Also, I don't know why I called you Kay. I've literally never called you that before. Correct. Yes, Shutter Island, so much better than Saw.
Oh yeah,
so much better than Saw.
But I still love like Quiet Place and anything zombie.
Quiet Place is good. Zombie movies are good. Like it's not even the jump scares with the zombie. It's just the numbers of the zombie.
Yeah.
The fact that you do not know where they are at any given point. Jaws is a great movie. Yeah. You know how long the sharks on sharks on the screen in Jaws? It's like 16 minutes.
Yeah, barely total. At all. It's the dread, the thought of it.
Yeah,
I like that stuff too. I also like cheap stuff. I like cheap humor. I like cheap horror. I'll take it.
Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, that's
one of
the
my
best.
favorite movies of all time.
Oh yeah,
Shaun of the Dead's an incredible movie.
I can't even get my fiance to watch that because she's so afraid of zombies.
I mean, that like the zombies in that aren't like classically scary zombies, but give me that dark humor all day.
Oh yeah, is that Zombieland? She won't watch it, even though it's comedy. I'm like, it's a joke though. It's a spoof. Like
the Bill Murray scenes in Zombieland,
the greatest thing ever. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was never good at practical jokes.
Yeah.
Like that killed me. I was crying in the movie theater for that one. I was like, God, I love that guy. Play my intro. We got 40 seconds. Sorry, stream. Y'all won't hear it. No, Keegan, I haven't, but I need to watch it. I've been told many a time. I don't. Wait, depends on what sport we're talking about. That question there.
Filtering and prioritization tools help you narrow down to just the most qualified candidates for you. It's why small
10 seconds.
businesses rate LinkedIn #1 in increasing the quality of hire versus leading competitors. Post a job for free at linkedin.com/sports. That's linkedin.com/sports.
Welcome to Bases Loaded with Mike Vendetta.
You know how to sneak in that Red Sox clip in there, right? Like,
Of course you did.
and 20. Much heat, in my opinion, as a baseball guy.
I was gonna say, I looked up, and Diddy is
Yeah.
holding this like flexible, bendy material that appears to have words printed on it.
Yes.
It's very weird.
As an old school journalist, I like my paper. Can make noise on the microphone with it,
Yeah, you have to let people know you're actually holding paper.
or
There,
like we're on the
move.
TV. Let me
Shift the paper, shuffle
Yes.
it around, and then knock it back in line. That's the
now
move.
breaking. No. So obviously the World Series is the main topic of this, but we're going around the bases. So we're starting. It's not going to be a World Series topic. It's going to be a smaller topic. We're going to start with Anthony Rizzo. And I know this isn't a Yankees market. This is an anti-Yankees market. I know this isn't a Red Sox market. It's not necessarily an anti-Red Sox market. We do have the drive, but it's a Braves market. And what we can get along with here in South is that we don't like the New York Yankees, right? Rizzo says he's eager to rejoin the Yankees. Very disappointing. Didn't have a stellar year this year. Hit 248, 22 homers overall between Chicago and the Bronx. Here's the thing. I knew this kid in high school. When he played for Douglas High School down in Parkland, Florida, I was waiting tables at a Buffalo's Cafe. I don't think that even exists anymore. That's how old this is. And he would come in with the baseball team. They would eat wing night. It started, I think, at 25-cent wings, and I think nowadays it's probably like 80-cent wings because, inflation. Kid's great. Love this kid. Got drafted by the Red Sox. I was stoked. Absolutely stoked. Larry Lucchino's a dope, and he traded him instead of Lars Anderson to get Adrian Gonzalez from the Padres. Next thing you know, the smart one, Theo Epstein, leaves, goes to the Cubs. First thing he does, he gets Rizzo back because the kid's a stud. So I love this kid. And there's the last thing I want is him in pinstripes any more than he already has been. Because, God, it's just I can't cheer for him up there. So what first base is, it's short, we're done now, is I'm asking Brian Cashman to please screw this up. And I'm asking 29 other MLB GMs to save us from losing the likable Anthony Rizzo. Because once he's in pinstripes for life, he's not likable. He's hateable.
I liked Rizzo when he was in Chicago, dude.
Loved him in Chicago.
I loved him when he was in Chicago. And I'm not a Cubs fan. My little brother's a Cubs. My mom's originally from Chicago, born in Chicago. And so she dropped my little brother on his head as a child, and he became a Cubs fan on accident. But dude, I'm always in the corner of an underdog, right? Like I'm always in the corner of a lovable loser. And when they had, and by the way, how do you feel as a Cubs fan watching Rizzo and Jock and all these other former players who had postseason appearances after you fire sailed that team? I loved Rizzo in Chicago. Rizzo as a Yankee kind of bothers me.
Yeah, I hate it.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit. He's too good of a dude to be a New York Yankee player. He's got to be like a Brett Gardner, who's probably a nice guy. He just has that look of a dude I don't like because he plays for the New York Yankees. So please, 29 GMs, including you, Alex Anthopoulos, we can figure it out. I think the Universal DH is coming. Could platoon Freddie and Rizzo down the stretch of their careers. Just please don't let them go back to pinstripe. Second base, we're on second. We mentioned at the end of the show yesterday, Ken Griffey Jr. has bought a stake. Bases loaded. Yes, we go around the bases, and then we hit a grand slam.
Gotcha.
But we mentioned yesterday, Ken Griffey Jr., the kid, the legend, is a part of the Mariners ownership group right now. He's investing in the team that he started and ended his career with. But we need to take a second to discuss why he's so important to us.
Can we talk about the kid being 51 years
I know,
old
it's
now?
terrible. Which is like, it shouldn't feel that bad because we were way younger than him when he was playing, but like he's still the kid and he's in his 50s. The guys that we grew up with are all, broadcasters and retired and Hall of Famers.
Joe Horn was my favorite Saints wide receiver as a kid, and now his son plays for the Panthers. His son plays for the Panthers.
Yeah. When he came to Carolina, I was like, wait.
Yep.
Cell phone guys kid?
Yep.
Cell phone guys kids in college.
Yep.
Oh, my goodness. We're getting old. But Griffey, why was he cool? Why did he matter? He mattered because he was that thing that brought the younger generation to baseball in the 90s. Our generation became big fans because of a guy like Ken Griffey. I still want his shoes. I almost spent $200 on a pair of high-top swingmans just because I never had them and wanted them my whole life. And I saw them, and as a responsible adult, had to say, that's not a good idea. You're poor. Don't do it. So I didn't. But man, everything about him was the greatest thing. Look at what you're doing right now with your hat.
Here's a true story. I've told this story, I think, one time on air before.
Yeah.
And I still have it. I was playing Little League Baseball early in my career, and we all wanted to be Griff. And so I remember my dad was the coach of an all-star game one year, and I had a phenomenal year on the hill as a 9-year-old, whatever I was. Anyway, taking BP before practice, and I had the hat on backwards because that's what Griff did. And I'm doing the one-handed, you get through, and once you get through contact, you throw the one hand around. And my dad comes up to me and says, number one, turn your cap around. When you're on the field, the cap goes forward. And number two, both hands on the bat through contact.
Yeah.
And I went, no. And he went, I'm not asking you as your dad. I'm telling you as your coach. Cap on forward, both hands on the bat through contact.
Yep.
And my response was, and I don't know why I decided that this was the hill that I was going to make my first stand against my dad / coach. If it's good enough for Ken Griffey Jr., Dad, it's good enough for me. And he said, you can turn your hat around or you just won't play today. It's an all-star game.
Oh, no.
All-star game. And I, again, for whatever reason, decided this was the hill I was dying on. Wouldn't do it. My own father I didn't see the field for an all-star game. I was the best pitcher in the league that year. Didn't see the field for an all-star game. And Diddy, I still have that hat. Still have that hat.
Griff the kid is worth standing up for.
The kid, man.
Forever. I mean, the backwards hat was life, and it still is. Like all of us, we're the only generation that still does backwards hats. You're doing it right now. I was going to turn around for the segment, totally blanked on it, but it's Griffey. Griffey brought that notoriety, brought that coolness. He made the Derby cool because the Derby was going on. It was in the somewhat of the format it was in the 90s before him, but once he got into it, we were watching it every year. It was life to watch Ken Griffey Jr. in the home run derby. And then the biggest thing is that he was legendary. And we have guys nowadays that are legendary. They do legendary things, have legendary moments. Jocktober, things like that.
Why am I wearing the pearls? Because I'm a bad bee.
Yeah, that's right. But you don't have the promotion of it anymore.
No, it's like they shy away from it, honestly. And it kind of drives me crazy for the exact reason you're talking about.
Yes.
Look, every now and then a sport has one of those transcendent athletes that appeals to outside of its demo. Baseball's demo is old white guy. It always has been. And then they had Griffey, and all of a sudden guys like me that I liked playing baseball, all of a sudden I'm like, all right, between him and the Atlanta Braves in the 90s, I was all in. Golf had Tiger Woods. The NBA had the new generation of Mike and Kobe for the next. Who's that guy for baseball, right? Like who is?
There are plenty, but they don't know how to market it.
It could be Ronald Acuna.
Yeah.
It could have been Jose Altuve.
No.
I mean, there's plenty of guys. It could be Jock Peterson right now. Plenty of guys that have that attitude that makes the next generation go, okay, stuffy white guys, here's my guy taking over your league. But I don't even, honestly, Diddy, I don't think they don't know how to market it so much as they don't want to. I think baseball revels in, well, we're still baseball. It's the sport you always loved. And you're like, nah, but dude, that's why your audience is going down.
Well, if Manfred liked baseball, he'd realize this is the way to grow the audience, not what he's doing.
If the commission liked baseball, what a
God,
lie.
I hate that guy. Remember, the 90s had Chicks Dig the Log Ball, the home run race in 98. You can take whatever the steroid thought you have is, put it away for right now. The home run race in 98 was awesome to witness. You had the heel in Barry Bonds. You had the face of Tony Gwynn. You had it all. You had it all in the 90s. Bring that back. All right, we're done with the first two bases.
I want you to know Diddy is literally just throwing his paper around the studio.
Rounding third. This isn't good news right now, especially for those of us in our generation and talking about 90s baseball. Labor problems are lingering. Both Major League Baseball and the Players Union must find a way to avoid a repeat of 1994. Dane Perry, CBS Sports, yesterday reported that baseball is, quote, almost certain to have its first work stoppage since 1994 into 95, obviously. That strike obviously canceled the World Series. Absolutely embarrassing. If the PED era hadn't gotten as bad as it had, that would have been the blemish on Bud Selig's career as commissioner. But then, he aided and abetted everything else after. So, it got worse for him. But this isn't good. And they're both optimistic. Both sides saying it's not going to cause any delay of the season, not going to cause any delay of games. But the offseason's important in baseball. The winter meetings, everything that goes on with free agency could all be put on hold because of this, which changes the whole dynamic going into spring training, the whole dynamic going into 2022. And this is bad, especially because the demands for the players don't seem like that big of a deal. They should be doable demands. They want to recapture some of the revenue share that they're losing the last couple of years because of everything going on. Every other league's getting better rev share every year. Baseball players are not. That needs to change. They need to end the tanking. That's what the players want. They're sick of being put on teams that are going to purposefully lose for draft picks. And they want to address the service manipulation, which we should all agree is absolute trash, when a team won't call up a guy who deserves to be a major leaguer until a certain date so that they can keep him for 1 year longer on his rookie deal so that they don't have to pay him. Those are the three main things, and none of them are that big of a deal.
Well, so there's two things here. Number one, and I've learned this lesson. You already know this. I'm preaching the choir here. I don't know that there's a bigger story in sports that fans don't care about more than labor negotiations, right?
Yeah.
As a general rule of thumb, they are vastly important to the future of the league, to the direction the league's going to go in, et cetera. And this is true of every league that has them, NFL, NBA, MLB, MLS, all of them. And fans just don't care. They're like, give me my sport. I don't care what it takes. You are 100% correct. But I found that talking about it on air, Diddy, for the most part, it never really seems to spite the attention of anybody but the hardcore fans. And you're spot on. I agree with what you're saying. The second problem you have is, you know what the hardest thing to do in life is? It's not taking candy from a baby. It's taking $1 away from a billionaire. All right. They don't billionaires don't get to be billionaires because they're willing to negotiate and give away money. They get to be billionaires because they are hoarders of money. You have to be, and I know I'm going to upset some people here, but I don't care. You have to be borderline sociopathic to become a billionaire. You cannot care about the feelings, emotions, or needs of other people and become a billionaire. You can't do it. Those things are mutually exclusive. And so you got, and this is where people start, it's millionaires versus billionaires, right? Which puts me in the corner of the millionaires who provide the product that we as thousandaires want to be able to watch.
Yes.
But you're not going to, it's not that easy, especially when it seems to me in the past that baseball owners are more successful in labor negotiations than their counterparts in the NFL or in the NBA, primarily because the majority of the fans, it's a different demo of fans.
Yep.
In the NBA, it's a far more diverse fan base. It's a younger fan base as a rule of thumb, and younger people are going to skew towards the side of the labor, not the owners, whereas baseball's demo is the exact opposite. It's an older demo, and traditionally your older demo is going to skew more towards the I guess labor providers, if you will, thinking that baseball owners are the ones that really make the league go, and technically they are, but the reason it's so much harder for the baseball guys to get their way than NBA and NFL is it's a less diverse fan base that cares less about the players than the ownership, I think.
That's fair. Absolutely fair. But the thing is, they're catching momentum at the end of this year when they finally brought fans back. Stadiums have been rocking in the playoffs. Atlanta, unlike the 90s, filled out for every round of the playoffs. Man, you can't lose that momentum with this. They better get this figured out. We're hitting a grand slam right now, though. We're coming out there. We're coming home. Grand slam time because the World Series begins tonight. And you're at obviously, you know who you're backing on that one. The Astros scandalous, obviously, powerhouse. World Tuve, Bregman, Correa. They got the AL batting champ, Yuri Gurriel, young legend in the making of Yordan Alvarez, who was just a stud against the Red Sox. They are a great team. You know what they don't have? They don't have Braves Game 1 starter Charlie Morton anymore. They don't have Justin Verlander, who's at home watching on TV. They don't have Garrett Cole, who's at home watching on TV.
In fairness,
they don't have Lance.
I kind of wish they did have Garrett Cole, to be honest.
I do too, actually.
I wish what's he since Spider Tack got outlawed, he's got like a 4.7 ERA now. I wish they did have Garrett Cole.
Yep, we saw how that wild card game went too.
Yep.
Yeah, he's back home watching this one on TV as well. They don't have Lance McCullers. Their ace, their best pitcher all of 2021 is at home. He is hurt. He is not playing in this World Series. Astros rotation hinging on young arms, Framber Valdez and Luis Garcia. Valdez is 3-0 in the postseason. Only one of those three is a quality start. Left game 1 of the ALDS in the 3rd inning after surrendering 6 hits and 2 runs. The game against the White Sox, he left in after 4 innings, only giving up 7 hits and 4 runs. Garcia, stellar in that clincher against the Red Sox, absolutely demolished his other 2 starts, giving up 5 runs in both starts against both the White Sox and Red Sox. In his other 2, couldn't get out of the 3rd inning of either of those games. Astros might be good. They might be the favorite. But the more I look into this, the more I dive deep into these numbers, these recent trends, the way these teams have played down the stretch and in the playoffs, the Atlanta Braves, even without Ronald Acuna Jr., look to be a more complete baseball team. They might not have the superstar power of the lineup of the Houston Astros, but they look like a complete baseball team, and they definitely look more like a team of destiny coming into this World Series. So I said yesterday, Astros in 7. I did a bunch of research last night and this morning, and I don't like that pick anymore. I'm changing it. Here's the official pick. Bases loaded. And you know what? Let's book a promise it. Braves in Houston's house in front of their fans and rub it in their faces with maybe some trash can celebrations. I don't know. We'll see what they do. Jock Peterson might, give pearls to every fan that admits they don't like their own team anymore.
I forgot to put them on today, but I pulled out an old pearl Mardi Gras necklace that I'm 100%
Yes.
rocking to the bar tonight. 100% rocking to the bar tonight. Look, I'm Heart says Braves in 7. Heart says let's get weird. Braves in 7. Head says Astros in 6. All right, it just does. They have been the most consistent run scoring team in baseball, and they've done it against some good staffs. Let's not pretend they haven't run and put up 6.7 a game through some decent staffs in the American League so far, including a solid back end for the Red Sox in the last series. On top of that, the Braves pen relievers, closers have been better than expected, like significantly better than expected. If they regress at all, they have to be as good as they were in the last series, all 7 games of this series. If they regress at all, Houston wins this series.
That's fair.
It only takes one thing, whether it's Rosario's bat going cold, Freeman's bat not waking up, any one of the 3 starting pitchers in Morton, Anderson, or Fried having a bad day, any one of the relievers or closers having a couple of bad games back to back, and this thing goes the Astros' way. They're just more consistent. Listen, I am red, white, and blued out right now. I will be tonight at the bar. I will be tomorrow at the bar. I can't wait. That being said, the impartial radio side of Rob Brown, Astros in 6.
Yeah, I'm trying to be impartial on this. I'm telling you, the way I looked at the numbers, I like it. I like Braves in 6. And I usually end this with a homer time, so I'm just going to say one quick sentence. Chaim Bloom, I trust you to give Rafi Devers a lifetime contract. If not, you're fired. Get out of here. That's bases loaded.
Listen to the Red Sox guy.
Pay the man.
Joe Giglio joins us next on the Rob Brown Show, ESPN Upstate. Oh, I never brought us back on the stream. Well, stream, Joe Giglio had some phenomenal insight that you'll have to go listen to the podcast for. My bad, guys. I'm so sorry about that. It turns out, and again, this may shock you, I'm an idiot. So there's that.
I'm just gonna ride the same bed when we come back into the out because we're come back like right at 59. I moved a couple spots into that first break of the next hour.
That'll
So
work just fine.
it'll be a little long.
That'll work just fine.
Oh yeah, that sounds like. I forget that happens.
All you got to do is go to iDareMe.com, fill out some information, and one of the healthcare coaches.
It's like, why is Lonzo only in my headphones? What's happening?
Go to iDareMe.com. You there? Make sure you tell them that Lonzo dared you.
Dare you.
From the 106.3 WORD Weather Center, here's the Upstate's most trusted forecast on ESPN Upstate. Mostly sunny skies.
To be honest, majority of what I've been doing lately to lose weight was what I learned from them.
Yeah. Dude, it's just eating better, man.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
It was like between them and then the one I had the endorsement for in Orlando, I kind of picked and chose
Yeah.
parts that I liked. I mean, from May till 2 months ago, I had lost like almost 60. And I'm only up like 5 since then, being a clown and drinking and eating like crazy again. It started with the I'm moving and I don't want to diet while I'm moving, and then just hasn't stopped. Because then I was going to Orlando for the weekend, and then I was going, and then there's baseball, and now there's football on the weekends. I'm like, oh god.
Yeah, I did one last year and I lost quite a bit of weight. And then remembered how much I like wings and pizza.
Yeah.
And it was like,
Well, I need to lock back in
so do I.
because I got till May to lose 50 more, so I don't look like Jabba the Hutt in my wedding pictures.
So see, you're like me. I have this problem where if I've got good motivation, I can do it.
Yeah.
If I got good motivation, I can lose the weight. If I don't have a reason,
Yeah.
I'm just lazy.
It's like we got engaged, I was 314.
Yeah.
And now I'm 259.
Nice, man. You've already done a
So I
hell
was
of a
at
lot.
55.
Yeah.
But I was at 60. I was at 255 before the move. Every day of the move was like pizza. Just buy me pizza. I'm tired. My back hurts. My knees hurt. Pizza. It's the only thing that helps. And then tacos in between.
Yeah, like when I was doing the endorsement last year, it's like you have to lose the weight to keep the endorsement. Okay, I can deal with that. You know, that's a couple $100 a month that ride on me losing weight. I can deal with that. But when that endorsement went away, that's when I was like, you know.
The one in Orlando, I lost like 70 pounds in like 8 months. Because I was like, well, they're paying me to do this, so I got to do it.
Yep.
You know, like,
Yep.
I'm definitely not one of those big enough names that I can just lie about it on air and the company doesn't care that I'm not doing it. I have to show
that you're
I'm
doing it.
trying for them
Yep.
to continuously endorse me. I mean, I kept it off for almost 2 years. It's when some life factors got in the way. And then I started eating and drinking everything in sight. I
Yep.
was 300 pounds again. I was like, no. About 30 seconds.
SelectQuote.com. Full details on sample policy and carrier ratings at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Price could vary on health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available.
I've thought about it, Josh. If I just do outside work, maybe I'll lose the weight.
Yeah, I seriously.
Honestly, working at the brewery has helped. Throwing around kegs all the time, and
the fastest way I ever lost weight was bartending.
Yep.
Because I was tracking steps at one point, and I was walking when I was doing doubles. I was walking 11 miles a day, and I
Oh
was
my goodness.
dropping pounds.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I was at the bar, so I wasn't drinking. Two hours in the book, one more to go. When we come back here in just a minute, we now know the final terms of the deal that the fan who got Tom Brady's 600 touchdown pass, we now know the official terms that he reached with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we're going to tell you what they were and ask you, would you make a deal? Deal or no deal? Tom Brady edition. When we come back here in just a minute. Then we got faces and heels. Then we got Twitter trending topics. It's going to be a good third hour. Stick around for it on the Rob Brown Show at ESPN Upstate.
That was a little long on bases loaded. Pushed everything back.
You hear the silence, and that's a good thing to hear. It is good. Brian Johnson nails it from 33 yards out.
The action courtesy
Depends on who you are if that's a good thing to hear.
True.
In the final over the Seahawks last night. Brian Johnson's 33-yard field goal to win it came with 1:32 left. Jameis Winston, 19 of 35 passing, 222 yards, 1 touchdown. That was hauled in by Alvin Kamara Jr., 10 catches, 128 yards overall. New Orleans improves to 4-2 with the win. The Seahawks drop to 2-5. Game 1 of the World Series gets underway tonight in Houston between.
I like Joe telling me that my Patriots are better than the record. Makes me feel good. I was in a thank God we're at least better than the Jets mode. Like, that's all I need. We dominated the Jets twice. All right. Whatever else happens, happens. I'll take it.
If the Saints go 2-15, but the two are both Atlanta, I can live with it.
Right? Like, it's always been that for it's the Jets. Like, that's the team. Like, I still hate the Dolphins and Bills, but it's never been as much as the New York Jets.
Just 5 cents a day.
How have I not heard any of these? This is great.
In functioning society, thanks to uncaring people their job to make their game perfect.
School football games in real time with the ESPN Upstate score stream at ESPNUpstate.com. Set up a profile, create your feed, and follow your favorite teams. Know when the big plays happen and when the games go viral. The ESPN Upstate score stream. Get all the high school football scores in one place at ESPNUpstate.com.
Here we go.
Check this out. For an official Rob Brown lockdown.
Yeah.
This is the Rob Brown Show. Only on ESPN.
Nikki Six says it's irresponsible for bands to go up on stage, quote, tired with a beer belly. Shut up, Nikki Six. I like beer and I'm old. Shut up. Welcome back to Rob Brown Show's on your radio. This is ESPN Upstate. Rob and Diddy with you. Diddy's final hour with us this week, so we better damn well make it a good one.
That's
all
right.
Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. 844-GSP, ESPN 844-477-3776. Text us on the Ingles Market text line at 71307. Tweet us at The Rob Brown Show, at Diddy33. And at ESPN Upstate. Check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/ESPN Upstate. And since we haven't mentioned it yet today, go watch the Facebook stream at facebook.com/ESPN Upstate. You can go watch the Facebook stream at facebook.com/ESPN Upstate. Go watch the stream. Hang out with us every single day. Diddy and I on the stream. When Lonzo's here, Lonzo's on the stream with us. We have a blast doing it. And I want you guys to come hang out. So, Sunday's game, Tom Brady throws his 600th touchdown pass of his career.
GOAT.
If he ain't,
who is?
Who is? Exactly right. So throws a 600 touchdown pass. The ball ends up being given away up into the stands. And yeah, it was, not great. Not great. Reaction on the sideline was so good, by the way.
It was.
So good.
Well, and the funny thing is, too, you see Mike Evans go get the ball, and you're like, he's grabbing the ball back to give it to Tom, and he goes straight to the stand. You're like, no.
So he gives it away. His expressions comedy gold. Anyway, so the Bucs send a staff dude over. They send a staff dude over to the fan that got the ball and said, "Hey, dog, can we get that back up off you? We're gonna hook you up. All right, we're gonna hook you up with something. Let's get the ball back." And the fan gives the ball back. All right. Well, the fan and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been in negotiations over the past couple days to find out how they would compensate the fan for the ball. They ended up initially offering him a signed Mike Evans jersey, I think.
Yeah.
And a $1,000 gift card to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers team store.
Mm-hmm. You didn't like that one.
Hell no, I didn't like that. And he shouldn't have liked it either.
No.
Then they did some negotiating back and forth. Here is the final deal. Now, before I do that, do me a favor. Turn the sound onto this computer real quick if you don't mind, Diddy. Last night, Thomas Christopher Edward Wayne Brady III sat down on the Manning cast of Monday Night Football.
Mm-hmm.
And Brady discussed what happened with the football. Here is what that sounded like last night on the Manning cast.
Did you get the ball back? Trying to get that. We got it back. So I got it back. Yeah. There was a lot of negotiation in order to get the ball back.
Is the ball in Canton, or have you made it into an NFT? Talk about what the ball is.
It's shortly an NFT. You can autograph.io. You go there to bid on it. There's a lot of great things, auction items, memorabilia. And there's my boy Tim negotiating with Byron, who gave to me. Byron realized he lost all of his leverage once he gave the ball away. He should have held it and then just get as much leverage as
amateur
possible.
Move. Yeah. So, if he would have held it, he would have been sitting in the Tom Brady suite for the rest of the season. But amateur move on his part.
Hey, I think it worked out pretty well. It just showed kind of what he got right there from it. But I'm also giving him a Bitcoin, which, I mean, that's pretty cool too. So at the end of the day, I think he's still making out pretty well.
So even Tom says, Tom freaking Brady, it's his ball.
Yeah.
Even Tom said he should have held on to it. Rookie move, gave up all his leverage. And he absolutely did. All right. Yeah. Gave up all his leverage by giving him the ball. Basically, they can name the terms because they've already got what they want out of it. So they have ended up ultimately giving him what we know they're giving him so far. The guy's name is Byron Kennedy. Not doing too bad for himself. He's like a surgeon at a hospital down there, so he's probably all right.
And Tom Brady said his name on national television, which is awesome.
Yeah. So he is going to receive 2 signed Tom Brady jerseys, a helmet, another jersey autographed by Mike Evans, Mike Evans game-worn cleats from that day. He is also going to receive a pair of season tickets for the remainder of 2021, all of the 2022 season, a $1,000 credit to the official team score, and Brady has chipped in a Bitcoin, which is worth more than $62,000 now.
Yep.
You taking that deal, Diddy?
Yeah.
You're taking that
I
deal?
mean, I might hold out to be on whatever boat he's on for the next floating parade, just so I can hang out with Tom, because I don't want to have dinner. You said something yesterday about dinner with Tom Brady. I don't want healthy food and avocado ice cream. Like, if I'm going to eat with somebody famous, I want to eat a real meal, some steaks and potatoes. You're not doing that with Tom Brady.
You mandate that Brady eats it too.
Yeah, but if he would eat a real meal with me and not be healthy Mr. Pliability, I'd maybe. But he's going to do that, so I'd rather just be on that boat and stagger off into Tampa with him after the boat parade next year. But the rest of it, that's pretty awesome. I think the valuation overall was like almost $80,000. Yeah, I know that's not $500,000, but the guy gave it up for nothing.
Yeah.
And they still gave him
could've
this.
just
They could have
been
said,
like,
too bad.
Here's your $1,000
Yeah.
gift card. Be happy.
Yep, we already agreed to it. Whatever, bye.
So he's getting 2 signed Brady jerseys. You can sell one of those for good money.
Yeah.
Right. You're getting a Mike Evans signed jersey, and if you're a Bucks fan, these are heirlooms now, right?
Yeah.
Like these trade down in
It's
your
going on the
family
wall.
until they run
Yeah.
out of Bucks fans in the fam. But 2 Brady jerseys. Mike's jersey from the game, worn cleats from the game, both autographed. A season ticket for this year and next year.
Yeah.
The $1,000 gift card and a $62,000 Bitcoin. I think I come back with I want a round of golf with Brady.
Yeah.
I think that's my last edition. I want a round of golf. Because you take a gamble on I want an invite to be a part of the next Super Bowl parade.
Fair. That they don't get
know
there.
that
Yeah.
he gets one, right? I think I'm saying I want a round of golf with Brady, and we'll call it all of that. A
Yeah.
round of golf with Brady, we call it. Because what I'm asking Brady to give up a Sunday in the offseason.
Right.
I think he'll be okay.
I want Gronk there too.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah. I need Gronk there too.
It's not bad.
For me as a Patriots guy.
Give me a round of golf. So give me the $1,000 gift card, the
Yep.
2 Brady jerseys, the Brady helmet, Mike Evans jersey, Mike Evans cleats, season tickets this year, season tickets next year, the Bitcoin, a round of golf with Brady, Gronk, and I'm picking one more. I want to force him.
Who would be
I'm
the
gonna
third?
force him. Brady, Gronk, me, and maybe Bruce Arians. Maybe go ahead.
I'm going to
Coach.
go Chris Godwin because he's done
Godwin,
really
okay.
well for me in fantasy football over the
Okay.
last 2 seasons.
Okay, not mad about it.
Love the guy.
This, by the way, good faith here because the initial offer of Mike's cleats
Yeah.
and a $1,000 gift card
That's all it took.
was a joke.
Yeah.
Was a joke. But Brady even Brady himself pointed out he screwed the pooch by giving up
He
the
did.
ball, which is why I said, and some of y'all called me names for it yesterday. That's why I said yesterday that ball's going under my shirt, and I am outrunning Mike Evans to the
Yep.
truck. All right. I am outrunning Mike Evans to the truck. I'm sprinting to the truck.
What's crazy though, did you hear the interview with the guy that was on local TV in Tampa?
No.
Or I think, or it was the Tampa Bay Times. One of the reporters went down there and interviewed him on camera. And he basically would have given it up for nothing. He didn't want anything. And he was like, oh, no, they're asking him, like, well, what did they offer you? He's like, I don't know. He said he'll come back and talk to me about it, but I don't really care. It's his ball. It's his ball. He was 100% willing to take nothing and ended up with all of this. That's a W. Like, that's pretty awesome. I think he showed his care and his compassion, and Brady rewarded him for it.
I can go ahead and tell you he's a better man than me. He's a better man than me because that ball would have been tucked under my arm. I've been carrying it like it was the touchdown to win the Super Bowl for my team. I'd have been diving into the car. I would have put it under every bit of fabric and material in that car I could find. I'd have been speeding out of there like I was in the American Grand Prix. I'd have been at the house. It would have gone in a safe, inside of a safe, inside of a basement at that point, and I'd have been waiting on that call. All right, Brady, Sotheby's says it's worth $500,000. What are you going to do? Are you going to match, or is it going to Sotheby's? I'll tell you right now, I got a hard time giving up a $500,000. I feel like this trade, would you say it worked out to like $82K?
I think so. Somewhere around there was what I saw somebody evaluate, every jersey, each jersey, what they would be valued at, the tickets for the rest of the year and next year. And it was somewhere around 82, 83, I think.
Keegan said, I think the guy, I thought he got screwed over until last night when Brady said he was also giving the dude a Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, 62K.
That's huge. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, wouldn't do a lot for me because I don't know a damn thing about how Bitcoin works.
How do I get that money?
Yeah.
Am I able to get that money?
Yeah.
I don't know how that is.
So basically, you're going to give me a computer code that you say is worth 62K, but I'm an idiot. So, and that's not to say Bitcoin's survival. I'm just saying I'm dumb.
Yeah, I'm dumb too. I don't understand how it works at all. Like, it really confuses me. But the thing too is, like you said, this guy's a surgeon. He's rich. He was out golfing with his buddy who has front row seats, season tickets.
Can I just tell you that even if you have $500,000 saved up, 82K is nothing to sneeze at.
I feel like he's got well more than $500,000.
62K that you just go, boop, sell, and that bank account goes up 62K. Yeah,
yeah, right.
You're doing all right.
Like that's what I'm saying. I'm happy with that. If I'm able to just cash that in, I don't know how that works, but if I am,
somebody smarter than
I'm
me
getting
will.
the money tomorrow.
Now, what I'm intrigued by, like, I don't know what the cash out tax rate is on a Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Right? Is it like 20%? And so it's really worth like 42K?
Yeah, or is that number the after cash out?
Is that the Is that the? I don't know. Like I don't know how it works.
We're getting too old, Rob.
If I am a Bucks fan, all right, I'm taking the 2 jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
I'm selling one. You're getting $6-7K for that.
Yep.
The jersey, the other jersey, the Evans jersey and cleats are going up on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 season tickets are absolutely getting used. No doubt about it. I'm at every game.
And if you have surgery scheduled, you can make money off the ones you don't go to.
Make a couple of grand. What else was it? The $1,000 gift card.
Yeah.
So like
Christmas gifts for everybody.
Yeah, my Christmas, exactly. My Christmas shop is done. Everybody's getting Bucks gear. I don't care if you're not a fan, you're getting Bucks gear.
I think especially if you're getting Christmas gifts for Lonzo, right?
Yeah. Big Brady guy. Big Brady guy is Lonzo. So I'm going in that direction. Texter says, ESPN, you heard it here first. Rob wants a foursome with Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski. Thanks, Texter. Way to bring it down for everybody. Texter says, does forced time with Tom sound fun, though? What if he rushes through it and ruins his image with you?
I don't think he would, though.
First off, I don't think he would.
No.
Tampa Brady, New England Brady kind of seemed like a bit of a stiff, but I also think he was trying to fit in with the program. Tampa Tom, I don't care if you don't like Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Tampa Tom is fun. If you don't like Tampa Tom, you are making up a reason to be mad at him. Like Lonzo's is, he got drunk in front of his kids. That's unacceptable.
Oh my goodness.
Like, hey, my dad was awesome.
Yeah.
My dad got drunk in front of me and he was awesome. Yeah, I don't like if you don't like Tampa Tom, you just don't like him because you're jealous. His life's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. That's just it. Dude is married to a supermodel who makes more money than him. Dude is he needs 2 hands to carry his Super Bowl rings, right? He is what every one of us in 5th grade. What do you want to do? I want to be an NFL quarterback, and I'm gonna win like 7 Super Bowls, and I'm gonna marry a supermodel, and I'm gonna make tequila to say. Okay, we didn't say that one, but like that just makes it more awesome, right?
Yep.
Like. If you don't like Tampa Tom, not New England Tom, I can see why you wouldn't like New England Tom. He was a bit of a stiff.
See, the thing is, that was only outward towards the media. Like, so everybody I know up there that had any connection that met him, even media members, people that actually interacted with Tom Brady, said he's always been this guy that we're seeing. It's just they kept it like quiet because he had to be buttoned up and professional. It's like when you go to the New York Yankees, you got to shave your beard because you have to be a professional. Like, it was just a dumb situation that he had to be a part of. But everybody that actually interacted with him, people around Boston that ended up running into him many places, all loved him and thought he was the greatest. So I don't see that being any different. I just think we didn't get to see it. Belichick wouldn't have let him on to the Peyton cast last night.
I agree.
No way in 100 years would he have let that happen. But this guy, Arians, likes to have fun, and he says, do what you want, man. Just keep winning for me. I don't care. So I think it's the same guy. I don't think he would be awful to hang out with. I don't think he'd force it.
Dude, I don't either.
I think he'd have fun.
He's a golfer. Like, I think he'd be like, all right, sweet. I get a day. I mean, at least I get to play golf, you know?
He would completely dump on you for how bad you are.
Absolutely.
Which would be awesome in its own right.
Slaughter me, but it'd be cool,
It'd be great. Tom Brady whooped me up and trash talked me for 18 holes.
One of the lessons I've learned in doing this job for many times is that the old phrase, never meet your heroes, is the phrase for a reason.
It is.
In fact, I'll give you a real disappointing one. And so what was it? Back in March, they had the BMW Pro-Am and Griffey Jr. was here.
Yeah.
And everybody that met him said they were kind of like, they were put off by him. Like,
I met him in the press box at Orlando City game. Nicest guy ever.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? It's all about experience. Like,
I almost cried.
Yeah. Like, I
was like,
so I went down there to cover it. And by cover it, I mean, stalk King Griffey Jr. And everybody I talked to was like, he walks right by you. Like, you can say hi. He just walks right by you. He doesn't look. He's in his phone the whole time, whatever. But I've also met 2 or 3 people that have met him and said he's a great dude. And look, if you're a guy, the celebrity level of Tom Brady or King Griffey Jr., like, you are hounded by people constantly and all the time, right? Like, it never stops. In fact, so last night I was watching the Monday Night Football game at a local watering hole with a couple of guys from the Swamp Rabbits because, we do some work with them. Anyway, we're watching the game, and I got to say hi in case he's listening. Scott comes up in his Iowa Hawkeyes hoodie, and he's like, hey, man, I hate to interrupt. Are you Rob? Yeah. He goes, dude, I listen to the show all the time. Big fan. Love it. Nice. Any chance you could talk some Iowa Hawkeyes? And I'm like, dude, I will talk Iowa Hawkeye wrestling now that I know that you're listening. Absolutely. Anyway, he walked away, and our buddy Tim, who is the ops manager for the Swamp Rabbits, was like, "How often does that happen?" I'm like, "Yeah, every now and then. Like, it's not all the time, but every now and then." And for me, it's awesome.
Yeah,
like
totally
I
awesome.
know I'm doing my job good when people recognize me, and B want to say hello, as opposed to like the 2 or 3 times where somebody's come up. "Are you Rob?" "Yeah." "I hate your show," and leave, which has happened to me multiple times.
Thank you. Appreciate the input. Thanks for coming out.
So yeah, exactly. So like it happened. But if you're Griffey, if you're Brady, that is unending. There is no escape from it other than being in your own home or on the field. So I'm sure after a while you just go, "Man, I hate to have to hurt somebody's feelings, but I cannot do because I will be standing on this golf course for 3 days signing autographs and taking pictures." Eventually you just got to move on. And I hope that was the case, and he's not, because again, Griffey Jr., the coolest guy to ever play a sport.
Ever.
So to hear that he would not interact with his fans is kind of disappointing. But I'm also, all right, dude was playing in a golf tournament. He had like 9 other things to do that day. He's also obviously trying to run his own businesses while he's doing it. Like, I'm going to give him a pass. Brady looks like if you walked up to Brady in a bar and were like, "Hey, Brady, shots?" He'd be like, "Hell yeah."
Like, let's go.
For everybody. Like that's Tampa Brady, and I'm a big fan.
Absolutely.
Texas says you would have to be a big dummy to sell a Bitcoin.
Oh, now we know.
What's the ceiling, right? Like, what's the ceiling on Bitcoin? Didn't y'all told me earlier it was at 64 and now it's at 62. It lost 2K overnight. Like,
see, that's bad.
I mean, if you're sitting on 64, like 62 is not the biggest dump in the world. But like, where's the ceiling, right? Texas said, ESPN, isn't that the same game that Brady saw the kid with the sign saying, "I beat brain cancer because of Tom Brady," and Brady took his hat off and gave it to the kid? Kid sees the doctors give back the football. "Dude, I beat cancer because of Tom, and I only got this hat, LOL." The fact that Brady saw that sign, and while the game's going on, ran over that kid, dapped him up, gave him 5, gave him his hat. Like, that kid does not care about a Bitcoin.
No.
Doesn't care about season tickets.
That made that kid's life.
That kid got Brady's hat. He'll never forget that memory. But that's Tampa Tom Brady, man.
It is.
I hate the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I love me some Tom Brady. Still do. Texter says, "I watched Saturday's Triumph game on ESPN Plus. Not sure everybody knows that. They stream all the USL League One games." Yes, they do. ESPN Plus. You can watch the away games, including Saturday night when the Triumph are on the road in Cary, North Carolina against NCFC, a game, by the way, that if they win and Chattanooga loses to Ford Madison, the Triumph jump up to number 2, which would be huge because it means A, a first round bye, and B, a second round home playoff game. If they are in 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th, which I think the furthest they can fall is 5th now. If they are 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th, if they're 3 or 4, they would get a first round home bye or a first round home game, but then be on the road the rest of the playoffs. If they are 5 or 6, then they're on the road the whole time. So huge game Saturday night, and you can watch it on ESPN Plus. Let's take a break. When we come back, Diddy and I play faces and heels. I'm going to give you a couple of scenarios that people are working through in their life, and we're going to decide who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. That's next on the Rob Brown Show, ESPN Upstate.
Woo. Did you see what Tomlin said?
Yeah.
That's the best sentence. That was a great answer. There's not a single booster with a big enough blank check.
I love that dude. You can question his coaching, but the dude is hysterical.
His press conferences are like,
oh, yeah.
Actually, courtesy of the Saints Radio Network, 13-10 the final over the Seahawks last night. Brian Johnson's 33-yard field goal to win it came with 1:32 left. Jameis Winston, 19 of 35 passing, 222 yards, 1 touchdown. That was hauled in by Alvin Kamara Jr., 10 catches, 128 yards overall. New Orleans improves to 4-2 with the win. The Seahawks dropped to 2-5. Classic Rock 101.1 airs Carolina Panthers football every Sunday. Carolina kickoff starts 2 hours before kickoff. That's the Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders on ESPN Upstate.
ESPN Upstate, your exclusive home for Major League Baseball. Play-by-play of the biggest hits from Major League Baseball's best.
including the playoffs and the World Series.
Live all day tonight, and you can kiss it goodbye.
This is ESPN Upstate.
Game on.
ESPN Upstate is your home for Furman Paladins football. The Furman Paladins hit the road to square off against the Chattanooga Monks this Saturday. Pre-game at noon, kickoff at 1:30. Every game on ESPN Upstate. 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg. On the Odyssey app.
Joint pain relief.
I don't know if we can sound any more boomerish. Trying to figure out what.
Tell me how this
What is Bitcoin and how does it work?
How does that work? I don't know how to computer.
We're ripping up the info. Nobody can read this.
Can't have my content.
If you're tired of the Band-Aid solutions like drugs and
My
steroids,
content.
and you really want to avoid surgery, you need to check out QC Kinetic. Regenerative, restorative, natural
Ooh.
treatment. Pain, back pain, shoulder pain, pain in your hips. Don't continue to suffer and don't go in for surgery until you check this out. See if you're a candidate of QC Kinetics. Call 864-448-3772. That's 864-448-3772.
Got Ashley over there kicking ass, cleaning the apartment right now. Awesome.
Do what?
She's over at the old apartment finishing
nice.
up without me. I'm like, well, I'll be there after this, like 3:30ish.
$29.99 a month per line. No contracts, no added taxes or fees. Includes nationwide 5G. Save up to 60% with Spectrum Mobile. Get unlimited on 2+ lines for $29.99 a month. Call 855-438-2999 or visit the store near you. Offer valid for new customers on 2+ unlimited lines. Spectrum Internet requirements. Savings based on 2-line comparison of unlimited plans from major national carriers as of 9/2021. Prepaid excluded. Restrictions apply.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates.
Still got 2:45 left.
So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Save like a pro.
Kobe.
Why is it that like every time you find the perfect GIF, it's like not HD? Like that one I responded to Courtney with is such the perfect GIF, but you can barely read it. I was trying to find another one that said that. I was like, that's the only one. I've had somebody literally tweet at me. Like a person didn't follow me. I don't know. I guess I must have responded to somebody famous with it. GIF.
Right.
It was like, great GIF game. Can't find any that anybody could see. And I was like, really? It's like, I didn't make this, right? Like, I just searched it through Twitter. You know how this works? Like,
Yeah, but that's Twitter is just a place where people you have to hit them on something. You can't go solid GIF, bro.
Yeah. Like, I made an innocuous response. It was really a joke to Lou Merloni after the game. The Red Sox lost. And he's like, make all the complaints, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, can I go back to complaining about the lack of deadline moves? And somebody responded, yeah, if you're an effing idiot. I'm like, all right, bro. So I just started responding with stupid GIFs. I did like Pee Wee Herman, I know you are, but what am I? And then he was like, oh, you got me. And then something else stupid to be mean. And I was like, I just kept coming back with GIFs until he got tired of it. I was like, come on, man, grow up. I was like, you can't say that you watched those last 2 games and didn't notice that the lack of bullpen help that he didn't trade for at the deadline was a big factor. Like, he had a job to do, and it was improve that pitching staff. He didn't do it. The offensive trades, he was right. We were wrong. He made the right moves. Rizzo was not great down the stretch. Schwarber actually was. But the pitching, my God. bringing in Martin Perez in a key moment.
Oh yeah, that was.
He calls him. I was like, they're like Martin Perez. I was like, what? What? Like, well, that's it. I text my brother. I was like, that's quitting. That's what that's called. Well, this is our only option. We made it this far. Thanks for coming out, guys. Here we go.
You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
It's not because people don't like you, man. You know, it's not because people don't want to give you a chance. It's because you suck. You suck.
Welcome to Faces and Heels, where Diddy and I are going to take a look at some real life situations that people are having and try to determine who's the good guy, who's the bad guy in some socially ambiguous situations. All right, we're going to start with this one, Diddy. Now, I don't have kids.
Yep, same.
Diddy doesn't have kids. So this is one that I always enjoy giving my opinion on situations with people's kids by not having one, because it's unbiased, right? Like it's a genuinely unbiased opinion. So here is our first one, Diddy.
Okay.
A young lady says her husband and her decided that they didn't want to throw a birthday party for their 1-year-old daughter. Instead, they wanted to take a trip to celebrate just the three of them. They told the parents of both the bride and the groom, the husband and the wife here, who all initially agreed on it. Well, the husband's family insisted they do a dinner for the 1-year-old. And the parents said that they wanted to throw a party, but after the trip. And they said, all right, like, we're not, all right, she's 1, but like, cool. That's more for us than her, but yeah, we're in whatever. Well, the young lady said that her mom called her and said that they went ahead and scheduled a party for this weekend because the weather is going to be super nice. And that they are effectively going to throw a party despite the parents not wanting to. Well, the husband is saying to the wife, listen, it's our parents. They've done this nice thing for our daughter. And even though we were planning on a trip, we should leave Sunday instead of Saturday to do this party. We'll push our flight back.
Yeah.
The wife is saying, no, that's one less day on vacation for us that we'll get to use. We've already scheduled this. And we specifically told them we did not want a party for the 1-year-old until after our trip was over because we wanted to go enjoy this vacation. The husband is saying that they absolutely need to go to the party. The wife is saying we are not going to this party. We are leaving on our vacation as scheduled and not missing a day because of it. Who's the face? Who's the heel, Diddy?
Oh, that's tough. So, like, in the situation, because he's trying to be the nice guy, it seems like the husband's the face. But really, like, aren't the parents, the grandparents of the child, the heel in this? Like, I feel like the grandparents are the heel because they said specifically, hey, once we get back, we can schedule this. Like, it's not that hard to just be like, okay, so you're back this day, but then they schedule it to make them change their plans, alter their vacation. So it's like, it sounds like the wife's being a heel, but I have to say she is the face because she's right.
Yeah.
They specifically laid it out on the table saying, this is what we want. And then her parents or whoever's parents didn't listen. So, like, really the heel kind of goes to the grandparents.
I agree. Well said.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done sniffing that one out. That is exactly correct. The heels are the grandparents. I think the husband's in a tough spot. I understand because, on one hand, like, dude, I'm 36. My mom's the most important person in the world to me. Yep. I never want to do anything to disappoint my mom. So I get him going like,
no, we can't do this.
Like, let's just go to the party. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
We're still gone for the whole week. Let's go to the party. But the real bad guys are the grandparents because they
really
knew better and they decided no. Out. And by the way, and I'm sorry to say this because this is where I will tick off some parents. Your kid's 1, she ain't going to remember.
She has no idea.
She has no idea.
No
She
idea.
doesn't care.
Yep.
Right? She doesn't care.
Yeah.
This is one of those situations that I dislike when parents use their kids as a reason or an excuse, right? When they're 1. Not like, look, No, I can't come to your party at 9:30 because I have a 1-year-old. Absolutely understandable. But if I go, hey, we're doing a thing 3 weeks from now on a Friday, no kids, and then you show up and you're like, well, I couldn't leave her at home. She's 1. That's on you, bro. That's you. That's you. That's you.
Yeah, and I've had at a brewery I work at, people schedule a first birthday party for their baby at the brewery. So it was really just a chance to hang out with their friends and also say, oh, happy birthday to our kid. But really, like, it was right after COVID, right after things opened back up. They hadn't seen any of their friends in a year. They had their baby during COVID, basically, at the beginning of it. So the thought process for them was, we're having a get-together with our friends that happens to be her first birthday, but it was never about the child. That's acceptable to me.
Yeah.
When you make it about the child as if, like, she's going to have a bad memory if we don't put on this party. She's never going to know what happened. She's 1.
No. Texas says, am I the only one who admits that adults hate throwing and going to kids' birthday parties, even my own children's? I don't know because I don't have one.
I don't know the first part, but I agree with the second part. Yeah.
Like, I am all my friends' kids' favorite uncle, right? I'm the fun one.
Yeah.
Mainly because I'm the one that's like, oh, your mom said no cake? That's too bad. Go take this, go hide around the corner and eat it, right?
Yes.
And don't tell her I gave it to you. I'm the fun uncle that will spoil your kids, and then when they get tired and cranky, leave.
Yeah.
Because that's what fun uncles do. That's what funkles do. Like so I got a 3-year-old nephew. If my brother throws well, it's not 3 anymore, but when he was 1 too, if they threw parties for him, to me, I went, it's a good bourbon drinking opportunity.
Right.
Right. Like, good. The kid's never going to remember this. It's just a good excuse for us to throw a party.
Yeah.
For somebody who ordinarily can't come out and drink bourbon because they got a kid. All right, here's an excuse to go to them and do it. I don't know, man. Here's what I do know. If you bring a kid's birthday party to a brewery, which I have seen done before, stop.
Oh, if it's a 1-year-old, though, come on.
Stop. No, because then all the other
it's not for him
are
anyway.
going to be there. All the other 1-year-olds are going to be there, and kids are loud, and I'm just trying to have a beer and watch football.
Okay, fairness to yes,
Stop.
I agree with that. But this one was definitely not one that kids came to. It was literally just like to say, like, hey, you get to meet our baby finally, and we all get to hang out for the first time in a year.
Right.
Because we were locked up, So it's a little different.
Here's another one. 19-year-old woman says she just recently moved in with her 20-year-old boyfriend and says that most of the expenses such as rent, food, and furniture have been split. They basically got an apartment together. They split everything. She said she currently works in a supermarket, which means, quote, I'm on my feet almost every day for 8 hours. Sometimes I work 9-10-hour shifts. My boyfriend starts work next month, which means he's home all the time playing video games on my computer or watching videos and movies. Can I start by saying, please, that I am convinced that when people submit these 9 out of 10 times, the person telling the story always exaggerates the other person's ease of life, right?
Yeah.
Like, your boyfriend is not sitting at home playing video games for 10 hours a day. He's doing something. You may not like what he's doing, but he's doing something. Anyway, she says that she expects him to do all the household chores, such as washing the dishes, doing the laundry, sweeping, mopping, etc., because she's working and he's not. Says recently been fighting occasionally about the dishes and laundry not being done when she wants it, even though it's the, quote, the only thing I want from him. He gets mad and says he's not going to do everything around the house just because he's at home all day. He told me to do the dishes myself if it bothers me so much. So I walked out of the house and went to work. Now he's not talking to me. Who's the heel here?
He's the heel, man.
No
He's
question.
the heel. He's the heel. You got to do something, man. If I get it that you're probably being over exaggerated that you weren't doing anything. You're playing 10 hours of video games and stuff like that. But if you're in a situation, which I have been in a very recent facet last year, where you're at home a lot and she's working all the time, do the housework, bro. Like, it's not that hard to just do the dishes so they don't stack up and get a bunch of bugs so that she's not coming home from working all day to a trashed house. Because guess what? If the roles were reversed, you'd be ticked that the house was a mess when you came home from work and you were here all day. What did you do? Why didn't you do this? So guess what, bud? Step up to the plate and clean the house. What's wrong with you?
Texter says, my 5-year-old had his birthday party this weekend. The parents had fun, ... 10 bottles of champagne and 2 cases of beer.
My
Cheers.
kind of party.
That's a kid's party I'm coming to.
Yes.
Right? You throw in a booze-free, fun-free for adults party? I got no interest.
Yep.
I love your kid. I'm not coming. Texas says ESPN, if the kids' party doesn't have alcohol, I'm not going. I won't attend kids' parties until they're like 10 otherwise. Yeah, that's about right.
At 10, you can play video games with them.
That's about right. All right, here's one more. Husband, in this case, is the one that submits this one. I've been married to my wife for 30. He's 37. She's 36 for over a decade. We have 3 kids together, 1 daughter and a pair of sons. She has a younger brother who's 31. So it's her brother, her younger brother. Just weeks after started dating his sister, he and I hit it off and became fast friends, hunting, fishing, off-roading, etc. I think of him as my little brother. When he was still in his early 20s, he ended up getting a girl pregnant after a night of boredom. And they had a kid. Both of their families basically pressured them to get married to start a family. The ex was actually fine with it, but he wasn't. She loved him. He never loved her. They split up, blah, blah, blah. Well, after having an affair during the marriage with his now fiance, they are getting married. So they were not happy in their marriage. He ended up cheating on her.
Okay.
Before the divorce, but now he is engaged to, and the wedding with he and the woman that he cheated with, who is now his fiance, they're getting married, is this weekend. Well, he has grown very close to the little brother.
Yeah.
The wife and the family disagree. They say, you should have never done this. We don't approve of the wedding. We're not going. Well, the little brother asked the guy, because I guess he doesn't have a lot of dude friends, will you be a groomsman for me? And he said yes before the wife said, we're not going to this wedding because we don't approve. My family doesn't approve of the marriage. He is now saying that he wants to still be a groomsman because this guy, regardless of the situation, is now a personal friend of his and he considers him family. The wife is saying, if you don't boycott the wedding, you and I are going to have problems. Sticky one here.
That one's tough.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I feel like you should be able to still be friends after, but man, you got to step up for your sister. Like, he cheated on her. This wasn't like a mutual break. Things aren't working out. We need to go our separate ways.
Right.
He stepped out and created a problem. He ended the marriage because of his problem and now is marrying the woman he stepped out with. And you're going to go stand next to him up on the altar. You're a heel, man. That's terrible.
Ooh.
You can't, it's family first, always. Blood comes first.
But this guy technically is blood, right? It's the wife's little brother who has become a brother to him via his marriage.
Yeah, but that's via the marriage because of his full lifelong sister that he's really related to by blood. You bailed on your sister for the dude who cheated on her. That sucks.
That does suck.
That's not cool, man.
That's a tough one.
That's a heel move.
That's a real tough one.
That's Triple H in 2000 type stuff.
I think we got a bunch of tweeners here, man. Like, we got a bunch of tweeners in the face. There's no heel. It's a bunch of tweeners. You got a bunch of bad things that have all gone sideways here, all at the same time.
That one's a whole lot of trouble.
All at the same time. All right, last one. Another kid one.
Yeah.
All right, now, teenager here, teenager. Guy says, I have a 15-year-old son. As a present for getting all A's on his last report card, I saved up money and upgraded his phone from an old iPhone 5S to an iPhone SE 2020. I guess that's the new one. I don't know.
I don't know what that is.
Anyway, he came home yesterday, said his phone had been broken. I was assuming he had just dropped it and cracked the screen, a relatively easy and not too expensive repair, but he showed me the phone and not only was shattered, but it was bent and half of the screen was hanging off. I asked how it happened. He told me that he had been dared by his friend to place his phone on the sidewalk and run over it with his bike. I asked him why he went through that, as it would clearly break the phone, and he told me he wanted to look cool. He requested that I buy him a new phone, and while I could afford to do that, I didn't think it would be fair to do so after he had knowingly broke his old phone. I told him he could use his old 5S. I dug it out and discovered that it had fully died at some point in the last year, which meant that that was not an option. He still needed something, so I gave him an old flip phone I found in a shelf. He told me it was unusable and completely unfair to stick him with, but I disagree. It performs the basic actions you need a phone. My husband says that I should have at least gotten him a newer old iPhone to use. It's caused a rift. Face and heel, did he?
I mean, the kid's friend's the biggest heel, but then he's also a putz for following the lead.
An idiot.
Like, how dare you? Like, what are you doing? The parents are definitely not heels. The father, I guess, kind of is because he's being mad about it that she wouldn't buy him a brand new phone. But you did this. Like, if it breaks on its own, that's one thing. If it breaks because you did something a little bit stupid and accidentally dropped it, that's another thing. But you ran over it on purpose to be cool. Heel all day.
The friend's a heel. The kid's an idiot.
Yep.
The mom's the face.
Yeah.
All right. The mom's the face. This is easily what we call a learning experience.
Yeah.
This is what we call a learning experience.
And when you get made fun of every day for your flip phone from 1995.
You will never do some dumb stuff again.
Yep. You're going to tell your friend no thanks when he tells you to run over your next one.
Never going to do it again. Learning experience. I'm not now. Maybe like maybe you strike a deal with a kid, right? Like, hey, next round of all A's, we'll upgrade you to we'll upgrade you to a 10. Maybe not brand new.
Yeah.
But we'll get you back in the regular game. But you're going to have to earn the new one just like you earned the old one. learning. Look, if it was a total accident, right? Oh, it slipped out of my pocket when I was jogging to school. All right, I can come up with something now. But you being an idiot, no.
Kudos for telling the truth, though, because you easily could have lied.
He absolutely
could have been like,
lied.
I dropped it out of my pocket and accidentally ran over it, Dad. You know?
Absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. I would go, because you told me the truth, you're back in the game. You get always an extra report card, I'm getting you a 10
or
an 11.
I like that.
Mom's the heel, dad's the face. Kid's friend is like the ultra heel.
Oh, yeah. The worst
You
heel.
knew what was going to happen. Quick break. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show. It's ESPN Upstate.
Do we want to just run back-to-back breaks?
How long is this one?
1, 2, 3, 4:15. And then we have another 5.5 after. So if we run them back-to-back, we'd come back at like 55. Yeah. If we come back, we'd have like 2 minutes to talk.
Mad World Haunted Attraction is now open. Don't miss your chance to experience South Carolina.
I feel like I can kick out game promo. Probably it.
If there is anything we can take out, take it out. But
Yeah. That's the only thing I can really take out.
Indeed is the smart hiring platform that delivers 4 times more hires than all other sites combined, according to Talent Nest. Post a job and hire ASAP. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
From C13 Features, a new kind.
I guess Ashley wasn't listening when I stood up for the working girlfriend. I was hoping to get a text of like, that's right. Like, yeah, I'm awesome.
you are welcome.
I mean, I did do it. I kept the house pretty clean.
Let's see. Rob, how do you feel as a Braves fan about Luke Jackson and his playoff performance so far? Not great. Not great.
Not great, but somehow still kind of better than last year.
Yeah, but not great. I would like to avoid Luke Jackson if at all possible.
Yeah.
Because there's no room for error here, right?
No.
There's no give him a couple of games to get his confidence back. Like, there's no room for error here. But you may not have a choice, right? You may not have a choice. Keegan says, I watched Saturday's game at a Halloween parade in New Orleans on ESPN Plus. Yeah, Keegan was texting me about the game. I love it.
Nice.
Go Triumph. That's a fan, son. Also, I love that. So Keegan jumps back and forth on his profiles while we're watching. And
Facebook
so
to
if you look at this profile picture from Keegan, it's him at the Triumph game, and he's like up over the jump smoke behind him, waving a big Triumph flag.
Yeah.
It's a dope ass
Nice.
Braveheart picture with Joe on the drum in front of him. It's a coolest picture. Like, it might be the coolest picture of any of my friends that any of them have. And then he switches later to like youth minister Keegan in his cool leaned up in a parking garage because he's hanging out in a parking garage look. That, ladies and gentlemen, is versatility.
That's
That's what that
fantastic.
is.
Gear up and raise your game with Beacon Pro Plus today. Build, score, and win at BECN.com.
Have you watched Dune?
By Capital One Auto Navigator, where you can find a car, get pre-qualified instantly, and see your real monthly payment without impacting your credit score. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Terms and conditions apply. Find out more at CapitalOne.com/Auto Navigator.
Today's pros need today's tools, and nobody understands that better than the Home Depot. Our app makes it simpler to get supplies ordered and delivered. Our online project calculators cut guesswork and last-second supply runs. Job site delivery puts what you need where and when you need it, and rental puts the right equipment in your hands, but not your overhead. That's how today's pros get more done. New tech, new tools, old-fashioned hard work. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
And now it's Geico's Motorcycle Rules of the Road. Before you ride, make sure your mirrors are clean and adjusted properly. And if you're going on a group ride, make sure the lead biker knows where they're going.
Ed, quick question. Where are you taking us?
Oh, I have no idea. What, am I the leader? Because I was following that dude with the red helmet. Where is he?
And the rule to saving on motorcycle insurance is, in 15 minutes, Geico could save you 15% or more.
Trending.
Do what?
Pulling up trending.
WORD Weather Center. Here's the upstate's most trusted forecast on.
Not talking about that one.
Mostly sunny skies this afternoon, a high around 69. Tonight, mostly clear, low near 43. By Wednesday,
Why is Dune 2 trending? Like,
Because apparently it's a two-part movie.
well, yeah. I mean, obviously.
I'm sure people are already just talking about what's going to happen.
If you saw the end of it, you'd be like, yeah, there's more. That cuts off abruptly.
Is the perfect time for you to lose weight with the help there. Why? Because what you normally eat for Thanksgiving, Christmas, for New Year's, you can still eat that stuff with the help there. You absolutely can. You know what you can do? You can get a head start.
Facebook ad. Seeking a babysitter to come to my home ongoing basis Monday through Friday, 6 a to 7 p. Must be churchgoer, conservative, female only, over 21, non-smoker, non-drinker, pass a drug test, pass a criminal background check, and have 3 references. Must be high school graduate and prefer you are in or went to college for elementary education. You'll be caring for a 6-month-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old, and 5-year-old, all boys, paying $75 per week, non-negotiable. It's $1.15 an hour. What? I swear to you, the one thing that would this will get me in trouble. One thing that drives me crazy is the amount of entitlement that some people bump into when they have a kid. Like the whole world should bend around me because I have a kid now.
And you could never think smart enough to be right about anything because you don't have children.
Yeah.
You don't know
That's
anything.
the worst part.
Yeah,
of it.
that ticks me off too.
You don't know how.
I'm not trying to say I know how to raise a kid, and most people who have kids don't either until they do it trial and error because that's kind of how child raising works. But don't tell me I don't know anything because I don't have a child. Like, it doesn't make me less of a human for not having kids. That's ridiculous. I've had that so many times. Of course you think that way. It's like all right, cool, whatever.
Was I saw a comedian once, Steve Hofstetter, who was doing a 7 on people having kids, and he was like, you don't know how to raise kids. And he's like, you know what else I don't know how to do? Fly a helicopter. But if I ever looked up and there was one stuck in a tree, I'd be able to go, you did it wrong.
Yeah, it's not how it works.
You really did that wrong.
I'm no expert here, but I don't think that was done correctly. Hey.
Every Thursday from 3 to 7 with a special live edition of Offsides with Mark Ryan. This Thursday will be at 8004 Warren H. Abernathy Highway in Spartanburg. Brought to you by Ingles Markets on ESPN Upstate. With just one spray of Microban 24, your hard surfaces are sanitized.
2:17 to go.
Hours. Touch after touch after touch.
So 6 hours from now?
Still sanitized.
12 hours?
Yep.
18 hours?
We're really doing this.
24 hours.
When used as directed, one spray of Microban keeps killing 99.9% of bacteria, touch after touch for, up to 24 hours.
Wow.
Microban 24, the sanitizer 4 out of 5 doctors would use in their own homes. So why not you?
I'm Serena Williams. You watch me live on TV.
And I'm the girl from that alien movie you watch on demand. Our world's been brought together.
Rob Brown Show. Hey.
You know, you can get DirecTV streaming with no annual contract.
I'm pretty excited by that, actually.
Introducing DirecTV streaming,
Gotcha.
the best of live TV and on demand with no annual contract.
I'll put you on hold.
TV together at DirecTV.com.
All I can do.
Who we got? Who is it?
It's Jimmy again.
I will take him. He's been a good caller.
Brady and the Braves.
Do this. Roll regular music. Let me take his call. Then we'll do Twitter. Is it too late?
Nope.
Okay.
All on America's best networks. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money, straight talk wireless, no contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required, actual availability, coverage, and speed.
Gotcha.
Did you know the arrow in Amazon's logo represents A to Z? Maybe the My Computer Career logo should represent unemployed to employed. Ryan was out of work when he started classes in March. In September, he started his IT career, working for Amazon, making more money than he ever thought possible. Here's a prime opportunity. Go to mycomputercareer.edu.
Am I the only one that doesn't like this guy?
You could start
You could start your new life as an IT pro.
This report is sponsored by Dairy Queen. Hey,
DQ. That Blizzard life.
Bro, I was always about that chocolate dip, vanilla cone.
Yeah. Everywhere my dad goes, he'll search out the DQ to get a Blizzard. He used to do that every time.
All right, let me get one phone call in here before we hit Twitter trending topics to wrap it up. Jimmy on the line. Jimmy, welcome back to the show, buddy. Good to have you. It's all yours.
Good. Okay. So originally I wanted to talk about the Braves, and I still do, but I wanted to add to your Tom Brady scenario with the football. I think he should have deflated the ball and put it underneath his shirt and taken it out of the stadium like you were talking about.
Boo. Boo.
Deflategate jokes will never get old.
I can't believe you overlooked the deflating. The
I know. It was
man.
right. It was right there in front of me. Right there in front of me.
All right. So as far as the Braves go, I don't remember remember me calling in saying that we were going to beat the Dodgers, and I wanted the Dodgers because I wanted to be the man by beating the man. So I wanted Houston. I wanted Houston instead of Boston because I think the Braves would have been playing the mystique of Fenway Park and probably would have been very pressured by that. And so as far as the series goes, I'm predicting the Braves in 6. Now, we are going to have to do better with runners in scoring position if we're going to do that. And Riley and Swanson need to start hitting to contribute to the lineup.
Yeah, Stone Cold Steve Austin Riley's got to get the bat going back again, and Freddie has got to get the bat going again. What did he go? He had like an 8 or 9 at bat streak where he struck out 8 and I think dinged out 1. The two guys, everybody that's been hot's got to stay hot, and I need those two guys to get back in rhythm. If that happens, the Braves got a real chance. If it doesn't, it's going to be a challenge.
Yeah, Swanson and Riley have to get hot, and we just got to continue with the momentum we've got. And I think we're going to do it.
Jimmy, appreciate you, big dog. We'll be talking to you later in the week.
All right.
No doubt about it. Diddy's go in. Braves in.
Braves in 6.
6.
Official.
Rob's taking Astros in 6 as radio guy, but as a fan, I'm Atlanta Braved out today, son.
There you go.
All right, let's go Bravos. Let's do that thing we do.
And now, the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter Trending Topics.
So many trending topics, Rob. First and foremost, I think this one's pretty easy for you. Hashtag world trending.
8:09 p.m. Braves, Houston Astros. This one down in H-Town. You got the battle of hashtag for the H and hashtag for the A.
That's right.
Yeah, we just gave you our official predictions. I'm intrigued, man. Like, this is going to be, I think this has got the potential, Diddy, to be an all-time series. These are two teams. The Astros may be the most consistent team in baseball, but let's be real, kind of boring to watch.
Yep.
The Atlanta Braves, very exciting to watch, but can be very streaky. If they're hot, the Braves got a shot. If the bats go cold on them, it could be over before it starts. This has got a chance to be a series we talk about for a very, very long time.
Yeah, and I'll say what I said earlier. I have no faith in the pitching staff of the Houston Astros.
Yeah, and
I just don't. Not in this situation.
I don't think that's a bad take, but the other side is the Braves back end pitched well above expectations coming into this postseason.
Yeah.
Does that go away? If it does, the Astros have been averaging 6.7 runs per game.
Yeah.
If the back half goes away, the Braves could lose some heartbreakers late.
True. Very true. Very true. Next topic. Mike Tomlin is trending on Twitter.
Is trending because Mike Tomlin is hilarious. He was asked in a press conference today about the fact that his name is being rumored as a potential head coach at the University of South California. And his response was, never say never, but never. There is no booster who has enough money for me. Love that guy.
He also added, that's a joke to me. I got one of the best jobs in all of professional sports. And then there's not a booster with big enough blank checks.
Yep. And he ain't wrong, to be honest.
It is not wrong. Not wrong whatsoever. Next, Astro World.
Astro World.
This one might throw you for a little swerve. What is Astro World?
I'm assuming they got something set up around the park or something.
Wrong.
Okay.
Travis Scott is having a music festival. I don't care about it, but it's just at Astro World, and I knew that would be a swerve for you.
Cool.
Nothing to do with the Houston Astros today on that one. And lastly, Dune 2, because apparently we're shocked that a movie that obviously ended open-ended is having a sequel.
So here's the thing. Dune attracted a large audience of people who don't, myself included, who don't know anything about. I've never read the books.
Same.
I don't know anything about the franchise. I have not seen the movie yet. It's on the list. I've got like 9 movies to catch up on. I have not had time.
Insane.
I've heard it's insane.
Absolutely insane.
If you're somebody who saw the movie without knowing that Dune is like a big ass catalog, you might be shocked that this epic movie is part 1. Because it doesn't say Dune part 1.
Well, when you watch it at the end, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
That's it for us. Mark Ryan and Diesel are up next for Offsides. We'll be back tomorrow with a full breakdown of Game 1. Diddy, thanks for hanging out this week, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, anytime. See y'all tomorrow on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Later, brother.